Praise Incorporated, bringing us prayer medley. And that brings us to exactly 31 after 6. This is the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trebi Hammond. Thank you very much for choosing us this morning. We are so excited to be part of your morning. All right, this song, I enjoy it so much because it's got some very, very powerful tunes in there. Very prayerful songs. And my favorite one is the one that says, my tree is not too good. Yeah, you know how we do it. All right. A very powerful tune in there. Okay, let me run you through what we have for you today. This morning, of course, we're starting with our news review segment. And then that will be followed by business news at exactly 7 o'clock with Samuel Ayentri. And then at 7:30, I come your way with a business brief segment. And then up next is Transport Today with Solomon Tetenate. And then, of course, we get into our market trend segments. And today we'll be joined by Emmanuel Boateng. And then we wrap everything up with our roundtable discussion. Very interesting conversations coming up this morning. Please don't go anywhere. Stay and stay. Let's do this for God and country. So let's get into our news review segment right away. All right, thank you very much for staying with us here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. Let's get into our news review segment this morning. Of course, we're starting with a New Finder newspaper, and the top story says that financial sector assets surged to 525 billion Ghana cedis in 2024. Story is on page 8 of the paper. And also, this one says that gold price is key to Ghana's economic stability, coming from Fitch Solutions. Story is on page 6. And also, top 10 banks offering lowest lending rates. Story is on page 6 also of the New Finder newspaper. And let's look at some of the stories in there. On page 2, this one says that youth advocates calls for climate action to achieve SDGs, and also youth inclusion key to SDGs success. Felix Nketia says that, and also Next Gen pushes for youth inclusion in planning and policy making, and also WAEC increases exam depots to strengthen WASI security nationwide, and also NCA shuts down 9 radio stations for regulatory breaches, and Menchia Palace bans all funerals for late Asante Hema's 1-week observation, and Ghana gold coin hailed as game changer in inflation control and city stability, and also Bui power plants over 20,000 trees to restore Bono landscape, and also new GCX board inaugurated to deepen market access for farmers. And all right, this story, EduWatch backs GES sanctions on SHS exam malpractices, and also financial sector assets surge to 525 billion. Okay, I already read that one. Energy costs push Ghana's fiscal deficit slightly above target, and pension fund assets rise to 86.23 billion Ghana cedis in 2024. All right, those are a few of the stories in the New Finder newspaper. Let's look at some other portals. On myjoyonline.com, this one says that Ghana Armed Forces cautions media over speculative reports on helicopter crash. And also, let's contest on policies, not ballots. Vice President Opoku urges African leaders at summit. And this one says that 2 arrested over alleged threat to kill Mahama and behead Lordina. And this one says that Wuntumi TV apologizes to Mahama and NDC over unfounded helicopter crash claims. And withdraw from Akwetia by election to honor Omani Boama. And Nana B urges NDC after NPP opts out of Tamale Central. And also security agencies closing in on middlemen who enrich themselves, awarding scholarships. And also Dr. Omani Boama swore that neither he nor his family are involved in Galamsey, Muntaka reveals. And Daryl Busu says helicopter crash must change fight against environmental terrorism. And GFA Congress, Ket Okweku outlines ambitious reforms and investments, and calls for regulatory support for football. And those are a few of the stories on myjoyonline.com. Let's look at citynewsroom.com. This one says that avoid premature conclusions. Ghana Armed Forces cautions media on helicopter crash. And also NPA warns of closure and decommissioning of unlicensed fuel stations. And also Ghana targets $2 billion palm oil import cut with new red gold policy. And Untumi Radio denies issuing apology to Mahama over crash comments. And 2 arrested over viral TikTok video threatening to kill Mahama and First Lady. And this one says, I've never been an NDC member, coming from Kojo. And this one says that Tamale Central exit not to influence NDC over Akwetia, coming from the NPP. And Justice Sia upon to step down as director of Ghana School of Law. Mahama visit families of Air Force servicemen killed in helicopter crash. And Menchia Palace, the story is also here. Menchia Palace bans funerals for Asante Hima's 1 week observance. And let's look at some other stories. Graphiconline.com. This one says Nana Konido Ajiman rolling slays wreath in honor of helicopter crash victims. And also Ghana Armed Forces warns against speculative reports on military helicopter crash. And Sam George says that we are going to do a proper cleanup of the media space. I will suspend licenses of media houses that show things inimical to public safety. And don't just be inspired, act. Comfort Okran challenges participants at International Youth Day celebration. And police arrest 2 people in connection with threat on President Mahama and wife Lordina's lives. And all right, on the international front, BBC Africa, dozens killed in attack on Sudan camp for people who had fled war. And Kenya court says British tycoon's body to decompose to determine cause of death. And all right, on CNN, let's look at Africa. CNN Africa, US man killed by buffalo. He was striking during South Africa hunting trip. And also Trump tariffs are sending African countries into China's hands. All right, those same stories. All right, so those are a few of the stories this morning. I have joining me Abel and Soliwin Amodiok to help me break a few of them down. Abel, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, me. I'm doing well, and thank you for the opportunity to join you this morning. And very good morning to all our cherished listeners who have tuned in from wherever they are this morning. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's been a long time, but we are honored to have you back this morning. All right. Let's try.
I think this is the first time I'm coming on radio since the fatal helicopter crash.
That is true.
Yes. So I want to use the opportunity to extend my sincere condolences to all the families of the 8 victims and to yes to everyone who have been affected and traumatized by this very tragic experience. So yeah.
Right. Well, today happens to be exactly a week since we had that tragic incident, and so I mean, we will continue to express our condolences, to send our condolences to the families, the president, the government, and everybody who is associated with them in any way. I think every Ghanaian. I mean, to an extent, every Ghanaian. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into the papers and the online portals this morning. All right. Yesterday was International Youth Day. There's been a lot of calls by young people, and we just want to look at a few of them. This story says that youth inclusion key to SDG success. And story, okay, like I said, is on page 2. Let me just read a portion on that. It says that youth leader Felix Nketia has stressed that young people must be central to efforts aimed at achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, warning that excluding them would undermine progress. In Ghana, youth-led organizations and initiatives have played a pivotal role in advancing development causes ranging from environmental conservation and education campaigns to social entrepreneurship and community health projects. As the world marked International Youth Day yesterday, 12 August, under the theme Local Youth Actions for the SDGs and Beyond, the conversation about youth involvement in governance and sustainable development took center stage. Speaking on the Business Breakfast on Zed, Mr. Nketia said young people across Ghana have already made significant contributions to development. And he says that Mr. Nketia noted that many youth-led initiatives operate in isolation, avoiding engagement with local governments due to perception of bureaucracy and inefficiency. He emphasized that involving local authorities is essential for sustainable impact, and he also called on young leaders to see local government as an ally rather than a hurdle, adding that collaboration can amplify their impact and ensure their projects align with community needs. Let me hear from you on that. I think there's a similar story here. Let me just add that to it, and then we can talk about and talk about that largely. This one says that Next Gen Youth Movement has called for greater investment youth-led initiatives as Ghana joined the world to mark International Youth Day yesterday, August 12, observed under the theme Local Youth Actions for SDGs and Beyond. In a statement, the organization said this year's theme was more than a slogan, describing it as a call to action that aligns with its mission of empowering young people to transform their communities. And the organization highlighted pressing challenges facing Ghana's youth, including unemployment, limited access to quality education, climate change, gender inequality, and shrinking civic spaces. However, it said these challenges also present opportunities for innovation, collaboration, and transformation. The group cited entrepreneurs creating green jobs, volunteers leading rural health and sanitation drives, and innovators developing digital tools to connect farmers with markets. It called on local governments to create permanent platforms for youth participation in planning, budgeting, and policy making. Urged development partners to fund youth-led projects and appeal to the private sector to invest in mentorship, internships, and skills development. It also announced plans to expand leadership training programs, partner with district assemblies to pilot youth advisory councils, and launch a digital storytelling campaign to showcase SDG solutions driven by young people. All right, that is the story basically. So, Abel, let me hear from you on that.
Yeah, very, very, very important call. I think the theme for this year is anchored on local youth action and the SDGs. And
hello, Abel. Hello, Abel. All right, I think I lost him. Let me try and see if we can reconnect him. Hello, Abel.
Yes.
Okay. I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes. I was saying that the theme for this year's celebrations anchored on local youth action and sustainable development goals.
Yeah.
And I was saying that they could not have gotten it better than that. And my point was also that, over the years, the conversations have been at the national level. And at the national level, we are beginning to see some small signs of African governments, especially, I'm in Ghana, so I'm concerned about Africa, begin to allow youth participation in some of national policy conversations. If you look at Ghana, for example, the build up to the 2024 elections, it was, huge part of the election. The major political parties engaged youth across the space. So you saw youth connect conversation. Baumia connects with the youth, Mahama connects with the youth, and the point was to illustrate that governments are beginning to listen to the youth, and you don't have any option than to listen, because if you look at the population dynamics, it tells you in Ghana. If you look at our population, the age brackets wise, the youth form majority.
I think 57%.
So exactly. So they are growing concerns that if you don't get them involved to address concerns that are peculiar to them, especially in the 21st century advanced technological space and all that, you'll be drawing policies that will not fit will not be fit for purpose. And so the conversations around this year's youth celebrations are very, very important. Very important because it calls for local action. I think that is where we've lost focus on. And once we've lost focus on local actions, a lot of people are driven to urban centers and to the national level.
Yeah. And
what is happening is that conversations at the local level are virtually, there are no space for the youth to contribute to local level development. And it's very worrying, because that is the unit, the lowest part of our developmental strategy. And if you are not involved at that level, no matter your involvement at the national level, you won't achieve the very purpose of what you want to achieve. Because if you do the national policies at the national level and it comes to decentralizing, where are the youth at the local level to ensure that those policies are receiving attention at the lowest level, at unit committees, at local assemblies, at municipal level, and even at regional level? So I think the celebration is spot on. The call to action for local involvement is very critical. How are the platforms going to be created? I think we must also, the youth must also take initiative. Over the years, for example, in the last 5 years, myself, I've made sustained effort to inquire about development goals and issues happening in my locality, where I come from. So I've taken interest in making calls. Sometimes it will be difficult. Sometimes people will not want to open up. But if you read more and know what you are enjoying to do and what you can do as a youth, then you begin to probe. And as you continue to probe, you see that those platforms that we are seeking to be created, then we'll begin to get some response to some of those calls for us to participate in the national policy or local level policy conversation. So for me, it's very, very important. And sustainable development goals cut across jobs, cut across climate change resilience plans, cut across agriculture, feeding ourselves, cut across promotion of decent jobs and employment opportunities everywhere. So they are broad, cut across technological advancement, cut across ICT integration, cut across gender issues and all that. So this is an opportunity for us. And I want us to sustain this conversation going forward. We shouldn't do it an annual thing. I think youth-based conversations must be sustained throughout the year so that we can take opportunities of the many, many, many forums that are available for us to make input in the development of our country, not even our country, but the development of ourselves first. Because sometimes you need to develop yourself first. You need to have an anchor on your own before you can start talking about contribution to national development or local development. So
and I personally, I am of the view that, I mean, if you want to transform any community, your focus should be on the individuals. I mean, I do a lot of youth development stuff, and so that is one thing that I believe. And I think I've said it here before that whatever problem that we see, whether at an international, at a global level, at a national level, regional, down to communities, to all of that, you see at the center of it is an individual. And so I agree with you when you say that we should develop ourselves, and also before we can even champion other causes in the communities. But you see, one of the questions on my mind is how many of our local government officials, and by that, I'm talking about assemblymen and all of these DCs and all of that, how many of them are even concerned, or how many of them have in mind these SDGs that we're having conversations about? Because one of the calls from Felix is that we should partner with these entities in our communities, in our constituencies and all of that. I wonder how many people are even conscious of these things.
It's a serious issue, and that's why I said that when I hear people say create platforms, I ask myself, who is going to create a platform?
Yeah.
And I say that it is for those that are exposed, the youth that are exposed to some of these platforms and know the importance of some of these issues and how to involve all of us going forward. They have a much bigger responsibility. Of course, those in leadership also have a bigger responsibility, but sometimes we cannot rely only on those in leadership, because human beings' personal desires come first, their parochial interests come first. If they can suppress youth involvement to their benefit, why would they want to involve the youth in some of those conversations? And over the years, if you even look at our national discourse, there are so many important conversations in this country that has come because they were championed by youth advocacy. Youth advocacy. Today, when we talk about one of the, not even one, I think that it is the biggest investment in education. It is the biggest tool for transforming education in Ghana. Get Fund, who are the advocates that led strongly for the establishment of Get Fund, was the youth, led partly by the National Union of Ghanaian Students, who together marshaled their base and pushed for some of these things. And you can see the transformation that Get Fund has had in our education space. That is what happened when you have youth involvement in driving or shaping policy and national conversations also. And that is what I think. So if you look at what is happening, they've seen that at the national level, there have been some positives, and that is why this year's call is local action, because they think that at the local level, we've abandoned the engagement and everything, and the local level has been left to, I say that at our local level, it's like it's been left to, I don't want to use the word old women and old men. You go
true.
to, and you engage local government officials, and you see most of them are in their late 40s,
there's a disconnect.
50s. You hardly see young people, and even when young people are within local government services and they are posted to very remote areas and local communities, they tend to want to seek transfer to the urban centers or to the national areas. I have a lot of friends who are working in OT region, Northeast region, among others, Savannah, and they all want transfer to come to Accra. And I ask them that, what is happening at that level? Why can't you find the channels that But everybody have excuses upon
Right.
excuses, and that is why I'm saying that this morning the conversations must be sustained. This is a review, so we can't really go
much into it,
into
right?
the sector by sector, area by area conversations, and then we can discuss them more in detail. But I think that we must sustain the conversations, and the media must help us sustain those conversations going forward, so that we can discuss what we can do, what are we not doing right, what is the trajectory, and if what we can do, we begin to do that, then how is it going to change the policy landscape first at the local level, so that it can reflect in the national level, and it can reflect also in youth development across board and youth empowerment. So we must sustain the conversation going forward. Yesterday, great. I think I joined the calls, and I think this week going forward to the end of the year, we must sustain those conversations and begin to see the opportunities that are available for us to also tap in and contribute our quota to local development.
Absolutely right. Great points there, Abel. Okay, so let's move away from that. But just one question on my mind also is, where is Agenda 2063 in all of this conversation? The attention has been on SDGs and all of that in the past few years. Meanwhile, our own African agenda is in the dark. We don't seem to be talking about it. Yeah, we don't seem to be talking about it.
I don't want to even even at the national level, we have a national youth policy. I think the last one, the first, the before, I think for almost 10 decades we did have between 1999 to 2009. So one was revived in 2010. I recall that, led by the likes of Prosper Holt, who is now the CEO of the National Home Ownership Fund.
Yes,
and other very key important people that put that policy together. I think somewhere 2021 or so, the policy was reviewed. So we now have a new one, very robust one. Even at the national level, well, we've not even asked what actions we are taking to see that those policy points find their way in our conversation. But I think at the beginning of the year, we're all excited that we now have a ministry dedicated to youth development and empowerment. And we are looking at how that ministry is going to coordinate some of these things. I think if not for the national tragedy that occurred last week, Wednesday, I think we would have seen there was going to be a national youth festival led by the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment to mark the International Youth Day, which occurred yesterday. But that could not come on because of the tragic experience that we are all still trying to recover from. That is, if we can even ever recover. So there are some small moves in the system, and we can only hope that I think that the ministry has a lot to do, and this is an opportunity for the youth that now we have our own ministry, and let those at that ministry lead. Let them provide the leadership that can drive some of these things. At the national level, our policy itself, let's see how we can. And I think most of the times our national level policies are derived from some of these continental and then also intercontinental policy coordination. So, for example, the 2063 Agenda 2063 by the AU, definitely once we're plotting our national policy, we'll be looking at some of the aspirations in there, and we use that to beef up our national policy. So let's revisit our national policy document on youth first.
All right.
And then let's see what is happening. Maybe one of these days we could dedicate time to having that conversation.
I mean, of course, this month
very
is
important.
Yes, this month is actually Youth Month, and so we'll probably have a conversation around that, speak to the producers, and then we see. All right, but Abel, thank you. I just noticed that the time flew by so quickly, and so we have to go. So we dedicated the whole of the conversation around youth. Yes, but I mean, it's in honor of the International Youth Day yesterday. So yeah, but of course, if you missed any part of this, please visit our platforms and you can get access to that. And the new Finder paper is also across, I mean, is in town. You may want to grab a copy and have a read. But Abel, thank you very much for your time. Really grateful.
Thank you, Ralph. Thank you.
Have a nice day. All right, that was Abel and Soliwina Modiok helping me break down a few of the headlines this morning. Well, up next is Business News with Samuel Ainchi. Please stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to the Business News segment on Business Breakfast on Zed. I am Samuela Inchi. Coming up shortly in the bulletin, Ghana secures 2.9 billion Ghana cedis investment to boost agriculture and food security. And also check use shift to bigger transactions as digital payments surge. And on the international scene, perplexity AI makes $34.5 billion bid for Google's Chrome amid antitrust pressures. Now let's settle for the details of the story. So first story, the 2024 Financial Stability Review has revealed a marked shift in Ghana's payment trends, with check usage by volume dipping slightly, but the total value of check transactions soaring by 30.97% to 384.96 billion Ghana cedis in 2024, up from 293.93 billion Ghana cedis the previous year. The marginal 0.15% drop in interbank check volumes under the check code line clearance (CCC) system suggests that while fewer checks are being issued, they are increasingly used for higher value corporate payment, large settlement, and other legacy institutional transactions. A similar pattern was observed in the Ghana Interbank Settlement (GIS) platform, which recorded a 78.12% increase in transaction value to 6.13 trillion Ghana cedis, despite a 6.07% fall in transaction volumes. Meanwhile, digital payment systems continued their upward trajectory. Ghana IPSS Instant Pay processed 161.2 million transactions worth 355.07 billion Ghana cedis, a 32% rise in value compared to 2023. Internet banking transactions saw an even sharper climb, with values increasing 114.9% to 212.44 billion Ghana cedis, reflecting growing trust among consumers and businesses in digital financial services. Analysts say the data underscores a transitional phase in Ghana's payment ecosystem. While traditional payment instruments like checks remain relevant for certain large-scale transactions, the speed, convenience, and accessibility of digital platforms are steadily redefining how money moves in the economy. Now, away from that, the agriculture sector is set for a substantial injection of funds in 2025 as the government and development partners commit 2.9 billion Ghana cedis to drive key initiatives under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. The allocation captured in the 2025 to 2028 medium-term expenditure framework will support the flagship Feed Ghana program, agricultural mechanization, irrigation systems, livestock development, and post-harvest infrastructure. The aim is to boost food security, cut import dependency, and modernize farming nationwide. According to the framework, government resources, including internally generated funds (IGF), will contribute to 1.61 billion Ghana cedis, representing 55.3% of the total, while development partners will provide 1.3 billion Ghana cedis, or 44.7%. A breakdown of the expenditure shows that 226.6 million Ghana cedis is earmarked for employee compensation, 1.13 billion Ghana cedis will go towards goods and services, and 1.55 billion Ghana cedis will fund capital projects such as irrigation facilities and storage infrastructure. The funding aligns with Ghana's Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda, which focuses on raising productivity, improving value chains, and creating sustainable employment. As part of the strategy, the government is rolling out an ambitious policy to cut the country's $2 billion annual palm oil import bill. Central to this effort is the Red Gold Oil Palm Program, which will see the distribution of 1.5 million seedlings to farmers, the promotion of large-scale outgrower plantations, and incentives for local processing capacity. Officials say the move is designed to attract private sector investment and create thousands of jobs in rural areas. The Red Gold program, alongside Feed Ghana, is expected to help transform the agricultural landscape, position the sector as a cornerstone of Ghana's economic growth. And to other stories, the National Petroleum Authority has issued a stern warning to fuel stations operating without the required licenses, stating they face immediate closure and possible decommissioning. In a statement, the authority reiterated its legal mandate under the National Petroleum Authority Act 2005, Act 691, as amended, to regulate all commercial activities involving the storage, distribution, and sale of petroleum products. The move, it says, is aimed at clamping down on illicit operations and reinforcing compliance in the downstream petroleum sector. The law covers a wide range of petroleum-related activities, including importation, exportation, re-exportation, shipment, transportation, processing, refining, storage, distribution, marketing and sale of crude oil, gasoline, diesel, LPG, kerosene, and other designated products. The MP also stressed that only Guineans or foreign companies in registered joint ventures with Guinean partners meeting local content and participation requirement are eligible to obtain licenses. Licensed operators are further required to display their permit prominently at their business premises, a measure intended to assure the public of regulatory compliance. The authority maintains that strict enforcement is essential to safeguard public safety, protect consumers, and maintain confidence in Ghana's regulated petroleum supply chain, particularly amid rising energy demand and market growth. And now to our last story for the bulletin on the international scene. Artificial intelligence startup Perplexity AI has made an unsolicited $34.5 billion offer to acquire Google's Chrome browser in a move that could reshape the internet's competitive landscape. The bid, confirmed Tuesday, comes despite Chrome being one of Google's most valuable assets and a core gateway to its advertising business. The figure surpasses Perplexity's current valuation of $18 billion, but the company says it has secured commitment from several investors to back the deal. Google has yet to comment on the proposal. The offer arrives as the search giant faces mounting antitrust pressure from following a U.S. Department of Justice ruling last year that found Google maintained an illegal monopoly in online search. The DOJ has proposed forcing Google to divest Chrome entirely, arguing it would stop Google's control of this critical search access point and allow rival search engines a fairer chance at competing. Launched in 2008, Chrome commands the largest share of the global browser market, providing Google with extensive user data that fuels its targeted advertising business. Perplexity, known for its AI-powered search engine that provides direct answers alongside source links, recently entered the browser market with its own AI-based product, Comet. The company has been aggressive in its growth strategy, having earlier explored a potential merger with TikTok and attracting investment interest from major tech firms like Samsung and Meta. Industry analysts say the bid could be part bold business play, part regulatory gamble. Whether Google would ever consider selling its flagship browser remains uncertain, but with regulatory scrutiny intensifying and rivals circling, the pressure on Silicon Valley's most dominant search player continues to mount. And that'll be all for the business news segment on Business Breakfast on Zed. But let's take a recap of our top stories. Ghana has secured 2.9 billion Ghana cedis investment to boost agriculture and food security. And also check use shifted to bigger transactions as digital payments surge. And on the international scene, Perplexity AI has made $34.5 billion bid for Google's Chrome amid antitrust pressures. You can get more business stories on www.zmultimedia.com. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms, ZFMGH on Instagram, Facebook and X, and Z Multimedia on TikTok and YouTube. I am Simila Aintree. Thanks for listening.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Dream home. No interest for 2 years. Are you ready to step into your dream home? With Lakeside Estate's exclusive offer, you can own your own home in just 2 years with no interest repayment. This offers you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice. Choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of Lakeside Hills clusters. Your future awaits you. Imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. As your CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. Call us today on 020-477-5040 or 020-141-8622. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour for our available homes. TNC supplied. Make your dream a reality. Lakeside Estate. Quality homes for all.
In the heart of Accra, nestled in the vibrant neighborhood of East Legon and New Beacon, a 360 multimedia firm has emerged. Introducing Zed Multimedia. With a steadfast focus on lifestyle, leisure, and business, we set out to bring high-value oriented programs that captivate the taste and desires of our audience. From the captivating airwaves of Zed 101.9 FM to the dynamic visuals of Zed TV and the innovative realms of Zed Digital and the incubation of advanced technological knowledge at Zed Tech, every facet of modern media is meticulously curated to engage and inspire. Also, let's not forget the New Finder newspaper, now under the Zed Multimedia umbrella, delivering insightful journalism with a business focus. Join us on the journey where innovation meets inspiration, where lifestyle meets leisure, and where business thrives. Change is here. Zed Multimedia, your lifestyle, leisure, and business platform.
Zed 101.9 FM. 101.9 FM. You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM. Lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Where my dancers at? I am. Somebody say yes! Tell your neighbor.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM. Your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
I love to sing your praise, your praise, your praise. I love to bring your name, oh daddy, your name. I love to lift you higher. Even you live in my
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
When my enemies try to show, you pursue them, no. Why you love me so? If I fall down, you carry me. If I didn't save you, they give me. In danger, you save me. When I did hope for you, they feed me your papa. It's your love that shut my head. Oh, that is why I love to bring your praise. I love to bring your name. Oh, daddy, your name. I love to lift you higher. Even you would never mind. I love to bring your praise. I love to bring your name. Oh, daddy, your name. I love to lift you higher. Even you would never mind. Papa, you do my job. Now you that make me shine. Everywhere I go. That's so wonder, they see my I know we pay you. That is why I love to sing your praise. I love to praise your name. Oh, Daddy, I love to lift you high. You should remember. I love to sing your praise. I love to praise your name. Oh, Daddy, I love to lift you high. Everybody testify you are good. You are the Jehovah, you are good. Everybody testify you are good. You are the Jehovah, you are good. I don't need it now, see everybody. Everybody make a shake the body and scatter down for Baba's God. I love to bring your name. I love to lift you high. You should remember. I love to sing your praise. I love to praise your name, Lord. I love to lift you high.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
This God that we serve will not let you down. This God that we serve will not let you fall. This God that we serve, He's mighty in battle.
right, welcome back to the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trevi Hammond. You hear the Samuel intro with the business news, and right about now we get into our business brief segment. Please stay tuned. Let's do this one. All right, let's get into business brief this morning. And today, our topic is this: will falling lending rates finally ease the pressure on Ghanaian businesses? And that is a topic we'll be talking about this morning. Will falling lending rates finally ease the pressure on Ghanaian businesses? Now, I know lending rates might sound like one of those phrases only economists get excited about, but trust me, this is about you listening to me this morning. Whether you run a manufacturing plant in Tema or a tech startup in Osu, or maybe a fashion business in Kumasi, or you're just working hard to scale your farm in Tamale, the cost of borrowing money affects you one way or the other. Because if loans are too expensive, growth slows down. And if they get cheaper, opportunities open up, and then it continues like that. It's that simple and that complicated as well. So let's rewind a bit. Now, over the past couple of years, Ghanaian businesses have been operating in what I would call a high-cost money era. In early 2024, commercial bank lending rates were averaging about, I think, over 32%, really. And that means that if you borrowed 100,000 Ghana cedis at the time to invest in your company, you could end up paying 32,000 more, 32,000 Ghana cedis more, or even more, than that. And just in interest for a year. And that's before you even think about repaying the actual loan amount. So that is a lot of money in there. Now, for a small or medium enterprise, that is not just a dent in profit. It can mean shelving an expansion plan entirely. And also for a young entrepreneur, it might mean your brilliant idea stays on paper because you can't afford to bring it to life. Why were the rates so high? That's a question we need to ask ourselves. Now, part of that was inflation. At one point in 2022, inflation was above 50%. I think we're doing about 54% or so. And so things were high. And when prices rise that fast, the central bank raises its policy rate to try to cool things down a bit. And that is what we saw. So higher policy rates eventually translate into higher lending rates from banks. I'm sure if you've been following our conversations on this show, then maybe you've heard this thing before. We've talked about this a lot of times. Now, the goal of that is to control inflation. But the side effect is expensive credit. And for a long time, Ghana was in that bind. I mean, no need to blame any government or anybody. That was a situation we're facing somewhere in 2022, thereabout. I mean, 2022 towards 2023, and then some parts of 2024. And so we're in that bind, fighting inflation, while businesses also gasped for affordable finance. And that was the situation. Now, then came July 2025. July 2025, the Bank of Ghana made its largest policy rate cut in history. And I think we've spoken about that here too before. A full 300 basis points, one of the largest we've seen in history. And the rate went from 28% to 25%. Why did that happen? Because inflation had cooled significantly. As of July, inflation was around 13.7%. Now I think it's doing about 12 point something percent. And so we've seen a lot of, as of June, inflation was around 13.7%. And then July dropped to 12 point something. And the lowest in more than 3 years. And that actually gave the bank room to ease up and give the economy a bit of breathing space. And that is actually what has sparked today's big question. when the policy rate falls, commercial banks can lower their own lending rates. The key word here is can. Because while the central bank's rate is a guide, it is not a command, really. And so immediately after the MPC was reduced, I realized that, a lot of people began to ask questions whether lending rates are going to fall and all of that. And I remember having a conversation with Professor Assuming from the University of Ghana Business School. And he says that we're not going to see the changes very fast like that. It's going to happen, but it's not going to be very fast. And I remember our in-house economic analyst, Imanu Boateng, also said the same. And so those have been the conversations that we have had in the past few days. Now, so because banks still have to think about their cost of funds, the risk factors, and also the profit targets. Right now, average lending rates have dipped from the painful 30 to 32% range to around 27 to 28 for some borrowers. I haven't checked exactly as of today, but not all. In fact, some corporate loans still come with rates of 33% or more, I am told. The optimism is there, but so is a caution. So let's talk about why all of this matters so much. Now, when lending rates fall in a meaningful way, the benefits can ripple through the entire economy. Now, for SMEs, it means being able to invest in new machinery, hire more workers, and open up more branches and expand into export without interest payments swallowing the profits. So that is one of the things. For startups, it can be the difference between surviving your first year and shutting down before you even hit the market. So that's also very significant. Now, for consumers, cheaper credit for businesses often translates into more competitive pricing. If a business is paying less in interest, it doesn't have to push prices up as aggressively to cover costs. And so you're also going to benefit there. Now, for investors, lower rates can encourage risk-taking, more innovation, and more diversified portfolios. It is actually the oxygen that can fuel the next big growth story for your business. Here's where today's conversation gets intriguing. A policy rate cut is just the first domino. Whether the rest of the chain falls depends on the decisions the banks make, the confidence businesses have, and the stability of our macroeconomic environment. So a lot of factors come into play there. So here's where we are right now. The central bank has made its move. Inflation is trending down. The average lending rates have eased slightly, but remain high in real terms. And the big question remains unanswered. One of the questions that we continue to ask ourselves that will the banks pass the savings on to borrowers in a way that truly changes the game? Will the rate cuts be deep enough and fast enough to boost economic activity in 2025? And perhaps, maybe most importantly, will businesses actually take on new loans if rates drop, or will they wait and see? So those are some of the things we'll be talking about. In just a few moments, I'll be joined by my guest, who's an economist, and he's been tracking these changes closely. We're going to explore what exactly is driving the decision inside banks right now, how global trends might influence our local lending environment, and what you as a business leader, as an investor, an entrepreneur should be watching for in the months ahead. So if you're weighing whether to borrow, to invest, or to hold back, the insights we're about to share could shape your next move. And so that's something very important. I believe you don't want to miss such a conversation. So please don't go anywhere. We'll get into our roundtable discussion very soon, and then we continue the conversation. But up next is Transport Today with Solomon Tetenati. Please.
This is the pre-boarding announcement for flight 3728.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, thank you very much. Solomon Tetenate is seated and he's ready to bring us transport today. Solomon, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Nee. I'm doing very well this morning. How are you doing today?
I'm recovering.
We thank God.
Recovering.
Yeah, you're recovering.
Yeah. But thank you. I mean, you're welcome. Give us what you have for us today.
All right. So let me take you through the local flight schedules for today, and then the traffic situation in town, and then finally some stories, trending in the aviation sector. So I'm starting with the flight schedules for today, and I'm starting with Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. Morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m., and 11:20 a.m. Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. Afternoon schedules 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. And then the evening schedule is at 7:20 p.m. and it takes 50 minutes to get to your destination. So that's the flight schedules for Accra to Kumasi Passion Air. Accra to Takoradi Passion Air morning schedule is at 6:20 a.m. and then the afternoon schedule is at 4:20 p.m. Morning schedule 6:20 a.m. and then afternoon schedule is 4:20 p.m. and it takes 50 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Sunyani Passion Air has only one flight available for the day at 9:10 a.m. 9:10 a.m. and it takes 1 hour to get to your destination. So what it means is that if your flight takes off 9:10 a.m., you get to your destination at 10:10 a.m. And now Accra to Wa Passion Air also has only one flight available for the day at 9:30 a.m. and it takes 1 hour 40 minutes to get to your destination. 9:30 a.m. and it takes 1 hour 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Tamale Passion Air morning schedule is at 6 a.m. and then afternoon schedules are 12:20 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. 12:20 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. and it takes 1 hour 20 minutes to get to your destination. And so these are the local flight schedules for Passion Air. Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi. Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi. Morning schedules are 6:20 a.m. and 8:40 a.m. 6:20 a.m. and 8:40 a.m. Afternoon schedules are 2:20 p.m. and 4:40 p.m. 2:20 p.m. and 4:40 p.m. and then the evening schedules are 6:50 p.m. and 7 p.m. and it takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Takoradi Africa World Airlines. The morning schedule is 6:40 a.m. and then afternoon schedules are 2:10 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. 2:10 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. and it takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Tamale Africa World Airlines morning schedules are 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 12:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. 12:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. and it takes 1 hour to get to your destination. So these are the local flight schedules for today. Let's look at the traffic situation in town, and we are looking at the motorway today. There's traffic on the motorway, massive traffic on the motorway today. So if you are using the motorway, you are going to experience traffic right from Garage, East Legon, past the Tema motorway interchange to motorway Manet bus stop. You are going to experience traffic around that area as we speak, so you should take note of that on the motorway. There's also traffic building up slowly at where Buy Now Pay Later Mamet Trading Limited is located on the same Accra Tema motorway. The traffic is building up slowly around that area, so kindly take note of that. Also, there's traffic building up at Underbridge Fitting Shop at where Kanau Ashaman. So you should take note of that, where the Underbridge car station Temashaman is located. You are likely to experience traffic around that area. It's building up slowly right now, so it might get busy any moment from now. You should take note of that. Now, on the Ashaman Klagon Road, there's also traffic on that stretch, especially where the Gamzag nightclub is located on the Ashaman Klagon Road. There's traffic around that area as we speak. You should take note of that. Also, the traffic is building up slowly at KFC Ashaman, where the Ashaman Municipal Assembly is located. There's traffic building up slowly around that area. It's not that intense, but it might get very busy any moment, so you should take note of that. So that's the traffic situation over there as we speak. Tulaku is around Ashaman Runabout is also building up slowly around, especially where the Universal Merchant Bank Tema East branch is located at Tulaku. There's traffic around that area, getting very close to Ashaman Runabout. So that's the traffic update at Ashaman. And there's also traffic, very heavy traffic on the Accra Aflao Road. There's very heavy traffic on the Accra Aflao Road, starting from where TT Brothers Transport is located. There's traffic around that area on the Accra Aflao Road all the way to Onimax Pond Free Zone. There's traffic from TT Brothers to that area, so you should take note of that. If you are using the Accra Flower Road, you should expect traffic around that area as we speak. There's also traffic at where the lovely tanker yard is located on the same Accra Flower Road, so you should also take note of that. If you're heading towards Palace Shopping Center, Tema Community 25, you're going to experience traffic around that area on the Accra Aflao Road. So that's the traffic update for today. Now let's look at some stories trending in the aviation sector. So the black box that was recovered a day after the crash, the helicopter crash at Ashanti region, will be sent to its manufacturer in China this week for opening and data. So the team tasked with the operation is expected to return to Ghana by September 2, 2025, with key findings that could shed light on what happened during the ill-fated flight. So the decision to send the black box to the manufacturer follows established international aviation safety protocols, ensuring that the data is retrieved without risk of corruption or misinterpretation. So the recorder will provide crucial cockpit audio and technical information, helping investigators reconstruct the final moment before the crash. And also, according to Aviation Ghana, the investigation is not being left solely in the hands of the Ghana Armed Forces. In a bid to ensure transparency and credibility, the investigative team includes experienced aircraft safety engineers, former Ghana Air Force pilot, and also independent civil aviation engineers. So according to officials, the diverse panel will ensure that findings are comprehensive, impartial, and informed by both military and civilian expertise. And so that's the update on the August 6th crash. Another story trending in the aviation sector, UK set to experience airport chaos at Gatwick as baggage handlers strike over pay. So UK is set to experience aircraft chaos at Gatwick as baggage handlers strike over pay, disrupting late August and September due to planned industrial action by staff employed by ICTS. So the strike dates unexpected impact. The industrial action is scheduled to take place on two separate periods, from 22nd to 26th August, and again from 29th August to 2nd September. During these critical dates, all flight services departing from Gatwick are expected to experience delays, with some flights potentially facing significant disruption due to shortage of staff to screen baggage. So this is a troubling issue at the moment that Gatwick is expected to experience from 22nd to 2nd September 2025. So these are the stories trending in the aviation sector today.
All right. Thank you very much, Solomon Tete Nati, for bringing us transport today. He's my colleague here, and he brings us all the local flight schedules as well as the traffic situation in town and some news from some news in aviation. Well, we get into our market trends segment very soon. Emmanuel Watson will be joining me pretty soon for a very important conversation. Yesterday, we wanted to talk about that. We couldn't get into that properly. I just brushed it. Just give you a few things on same. And today we're going to get into the details proper. And so please don't go anywhere. We'll take a quick music break. When we return, we get into market trends.
What I'm going through is working out for me. I will be the head, not the tail. Above and not beneath. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. It's turning around for me. Everybody say, I'll be the head, not the tail. Above and not beneath. From the gas, we should prosper. It's turning around, say. It's turning around for everybody. I see everything turning around for my good. Everybody say turning around. Turning around for my good. Turning around, say. Turning around for my good. I see everything turning around for my good. It's working in my favor. Turning around for my good. Turning around, say. A new creation, all things are past, behold, all things are new. Whom the sun set free is truly free indeed. What I'm going through is working out for me. Everybody sing, I will be the head, not the tail. Above and not beneath. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. It's turning around, say. One more time, I will be the head, not the tail. Above and not beneath. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. It's turning. See, I see everything turning around for my good. Turning around for my good. Turning around, say. Turning around for my good. It's working in my favor. Above and not beneath, no weapon from the gate.
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
Listen. Please call me favor, Papa has done too much for me. Please call me favor, I am me only by his grace.
Exactly 8 o'clock. This is a business breakfast on Zed. The song in the background is Lukalu, Call Me Favor, Deborah Lukalu. Well, do you plan on owning your own house? Yes, if you want to own your own house, you can do that in just 2 years with no interest repayment. Yes, you heard me right, no interest repayment. And that is only possible with Lakeside Estate. Lakeside Estate has got an exclusive offer for you, and this offer gives you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice. And you get to choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of the Lakeside Hills clusters. So indeed, your future awaits. Imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. Well, as your CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. All you have to do is to call us today. And the number to call is 020-477-5042. 020-477-5042. Or 020-477-5040. 020-477-5040. Or 050-141-8622. 050-141-8622. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour of our available homes. Lakeside Estates, quality home for all. All right, pretty soon we'll get into our market trends segment this morning, and very interesting conversations coming up very soon. But please continue to enjoy this, and we will be right back.
Listen. Please call me favor, Papa has done too much for me. Please call me favor, I am here only by his grace. Please call me favor, Papa has done too much for me. It's overflowing. My name is Favor. What's up? Please call me favor, Papa has done too much for me. Please call me favor, I am here only by his grace. Please call me favor, Papa has done too much for me. It's overflowing. My name is Favor, you dey bless me, oh. Bless me, Papa. Bless me, oh. Bless me, Papa. You dey 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 bless me. Bless me, Papa. Call me Favor. Please call me Favor, Papa has done too much for me. Please call me Favor, I'm here
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
The Lord our God is King of Israel. The Lord our God is mighty. He's full of grace and mercy. He's given us His Son, Emmanuel, atonement for all of our sins, a gift to set us all free. Oh, let the be praised, let the be praised. With all of my heart, I lift up my voice, and to you I will sing. Waiting, I go give to you my praise. Waiting, I go give to you my praise. Waiting, I go give to you my praise. Waiting, I go give to you my My God, you don't make me better. You never let me suffer. I'll praise your name forever. As time does go, my life just stay better. Your love they make me wonder. My mouth ain't no go tired. Oh, let there be praise. Let there be praise. With all of my heart, still I will sing. Waiting, I don't give to you my praise. Waiting, I don't give to my praise. Waiting, I don't give to my praise. Waiting, I don't give to my praise. I not get money. My praise. You know I'm money. My praise. Waiting, I don't give you my praise. Waiting, I don't give you. For the Lord is mighty and great. He's worthy of praise that comes from the Lord. The inhabitants are offering of praise. Let's sing for the Lord. Joy overflows in my heart. Sing a new song to the Lord. Joy overflows in my heart. Sing a new song to the Lord. I will praise your name. I will worship you. Glory, hallelujah. Sing a new song to the Lord. Glory, hallelujah. Sing a new song to the Lord.
All right, welcome back to the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM, exactly 12 minutes after 8. And we get into our market trend segment this morning. And yesterday, I started talking to you about the 2024 credit reporting activity report that has been released by the Bank of Ghana. And I tried to highlight a few things, but today we get into it deeper. Emmanuel Boateng joins me for that one. And of course, the report is packed with some eye-opening developments in the country's credit landscape, from a huge jump in our credit inquiries to the launch of credit scoring to a drop in debt check incidents as well. This report doesn't just speak to bankers and lenders. It has real implications for how easily individuals and businesses can access credit, also the cost of borrowing, and even how financial risks are managed in the country. Now, today on the market trends, that's what we're going to look at. We're going to break down the key takeaways in our in the report, and that will be done by Emmanuel Boateng, our in-house economic analyst. Ima, good morning.
Good morning, Nitrebi. How are you?
I'm well. How are you too?
I'm doing very well by God's grace.
We thank God. Thanks so much for making time this morning to join me. Well, let's get into the reports. Now, we're talking about a credit reporting activity report, actually. And tell us a bit about it for those who may not be familiar with it. Maybe just walk us through what this report is about and why it matters for our financial system.
Thank you very much. Good morning to all our cherished listeners. The credit reporting activity report is an annual publication by the Bank of Ghana that evaluates or reviews the performance, not only the performance, but the trends as well, and the development in our credit reporting system over the past year. In another way to put that is to say, it is like how you go for checkup at the hospital. But this checkup is particularly to ascertain information about those that borrow. Because we are talking about credit here. Credit is associated with borrowing, going for loans, among other things. So it's about information about those that borrow, whether individuals, individuals as we are, we can go and borrow. Institutions can also borrow, businesses, among others. So that information is collected, stored, and used by the lenders to make credit decisions. Look, if you have information about the behavior of borrowers, it helps you to decide whether or not to advance credit to them. In other words, if you know a particular borrower is risky to the extent that that person is usually unable to pay back the monies they have borrowed, you are least likely to lend money to them. 1. 2, the chances of you lending money to them is less as a result. If you intend to lend money to them, it comes at a very high cost. And that is why I think some part of this year, maybe a month or two ago, we held discussions around some external developments in our credit status of the country, where Fitch, S&Ps, Moody's, and the likes were grading Ghana. And that grading was with respect to our credit worthiness, our ability to pay back our loans when we go for them. It is the same thing that we are talking about here. But in this case, it is the issue of the Central Bank of Ghana giving a report on the credit worthiness of institutions in the country. So that is more or less what it is. But maybe one of the key highlights we have in this year is the introduction or the inclusion of new industries like petroleum service providers and the introduction of a credit scoring system in Ghana. I know you remember it was one of the highlights or one of the key things the former Vice President and His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was heavy on. And I am happy that the current report touches on that. It also touches on compliance issues, the handling of complaints, the incidence of debt checks, and even new cross-border credit arrangements, particularly relevant for Ghanaians who are living abroad. Yeah, so Nitrabi, I think that this is generally what the overview is. And it is important because a well-functioning credit reporting system is a good ground for a safe and efficient lending environment. When lenders have access to accurate real-time credit information, they can now make better credit decisions. In other words, it will prevent moral hazard situations and adverse selection. We are not going to give money to those who are not worth it, and we are not going to choose the wrong people to give money to. Those who will take money and go and use it for something else, that situation will be curtailed significantly, and to the large extent will be avoided completely. And I tell you, once we can make better decisions, we reduce the risk of bad loans and extend credit to deserving borrowers, including those who might not have traditional collateral. And I think that for our financial system, as we have it, this means fewer non-performing loans. Non-performing loans has been an issue for quite some time now. And once we are able to improve our credit information, among other things, then we are sure that we are going to reduce the level of non-performing loans. And then we are going to see stronger bank capital and a heavier flow of credit into the formal economy. And for the average person, all we have said so far is that fairer interest rates and greater access to credit if you have a good borrowing record. And the report is important, given that it shows us where we are improving as a nation and where gaps exist, to the extent that we'll be able to close such gaps.
Right. Okay. Let's get into the details of the report. Now, we see an 114.6% jump in credit inquiries in 2024, which compared to 2023. What does that say about the direction of our credit market?
Over 100% surge in credit inquiries is a signal that lenders are increasingly relying on formal credit. They are relying on formal credit reporting systems when they are deciding when to lend, who to lend to, among others. And it shows that credit reports are no longer just a regulatory tick box. No, they have become central to the risk assessment process. Looking at it more closely, it is partly driven by the growth in digital loans, where lenders, which includes fintechs and mobile money operators, use credit reports to instantly verify a borrower's repayment history before disbursing funds. As human as we are, if someone, borrows money from you and the person is unable to pay, literally, let's be honest with ourselves. When a person comes a second time, the chances of you giving that person money is very low.
True.
Sometimes it even becomes a big problem. Like, it's immediately among other things.
Yeah.
It is the same situation with our formal institutions. Once we have a credit report, credit assessment information about you, that you usually default when you go out for loans, among other things, chances of a bank giving money to start a business or start an individual is very, very slim. Very, very slim. And I think that in 2024 alone, there were almost 29.5 million credit searches compared to just 13.8, more than double. So that is a huge leap, and it suggests both wider adoption and deeper integration of credit referencing into everyday lending decisions. Let me conclude. And I think that the trend is pointing towards a rather maturing credit market. As more institutions use credit reports, what we know is that borrowers who consistently meet the obligations will find it easier to access loans, while those who we will call risky borrowers will face more scrutiny. However, it is also raising the stakes for data accuracy and completeness. If the credit reporting databases are not completely comprehensive or up to date, then a bad record could unfairly block someone from accessing credit, while gaps in data could allow risky borrowers to slip through. So I think that while the growth in inquiries is a positive sign, it must go hand in hand with improvement in data quality and dispute resolution.
I see. So it's actually something very positive. And let's talk about the credit growth and also the non-performing loans, the rising the numbers. Now, credit growth was strong from what I can see, and yet we can see that the non-performing loan ratio still rose to 21.79%. According to the report. How do we reconcile strong lending with worsening loan performance?
Yeah, thank you. You see, on the surface, when you look at it, it appears contradictory. Of course, credit grew by over 24% in 2024, which was last year, but the percentage of loans that are not being repaid on time, which we call the non-performing loans, are increased. Non-performing loan ratio would mean that when you take the non-performing loans, the portion of the loans that have not been repaid, which were supposed to be repaid, and you divide that by your gross loans and advances, that is how they find the non-performing loan ratio. And so if we are saying that credits, in other words, money that we have lent out have grown by 24% last year, but the percentage of loans, in other words, that are not being repaid on time, which is the non-performing loans, also increased, then this is that these two trends can happen simultaneously when credit growth is driven by increased lending to segments with risk, like high-risk portfolios. And that is really what happens. And in our case, much of the lending growth came from domestic currency loans to the private sector. And I'm going to speak to that. Domestic private loans in the private sector, domestic currency loans, in other words, like lending money in the Ghanaian cedi. So when you lend money in the Ghanaian cedi, you may suffer when the currency movement is not favorable. Once the currency movement is not in your favor, then the bank suffers. And I think that is what is underpinning all of it. Now, you see, that can be, we are therefore more exposed to shocks, because once there is a depreciation of the currency, what are some of the things that we use to anchor that? One of the things we see is inflation, currency depreciation, or some sector-specific downturn. And if repayment capacity doesn't grow at the same pace as lending volumes, then NPLs can rise even in a booming credit market. And I think that the point, also implies that there is some level of gap in our credit risk management process. You know, while credit reporting helps in screening borrowers, I want to believe that it is not a silver bullet. Lenders they still need some strong internal risk assessment processes, some sector diversification, and active loan monitoring. The Bank of Ghana's report, it makes it clear that better use of the credit reporting system, which we call the CRS, especially with the introduction of credit scoring, should help reduce adverse selection and over time bring non-performing loans down. And I don't even want to say only adverse selection, even moral hazard situations. And that will help to bring the non-performing loans down. But you know, in the short term, strong lending growth without equally strong risk controls would inevitably push non-performing loans higher than expected to be.
Right. The issue about credit scoring, how significant is the commencement of that in our lending landscape, and what changes could borrowers expect from it? You were saying that you were very excited. When the former vice president brought up some issues around that, trying to introduce that and all of that. Tell us, what changes could that bring, or could borrowers expect from it?
Credit scoring, it is a game changer for Ghana's lending market. And maybe let me add that it's not new. Perhaps it's new to Ghana, but it's not new in the global financial architecture.
Okay.
It's an old phenomenon. You know, until now, credit reports have largely been descriptive, showing a borrower's credit history, a borrower's outstanding loan, and the repayment behavior of a typical borrower. You see, credit scoring distills all that information into a single numerical score that indicates the borrower's likelihood of repaying a loan. So let's say we decide that credit scoring is between 1 and 10. Let's just take that as a Likert scale. And we say that the closer you are to 10, the higher your credit worthiness. And the closer you are to 1, the higher your chances of default. I hope you remember how these rating agencies rate countries with respect to their credit worthiness. You remember the AAA, AA plus. You see where Ghana was some risk default. We brought to CC plus, and it looks like some coding language, but really it's not coding language. It is just an indication of a country's risk of default, or otherwise their level of credit worthiness. And that is what we are saying here. Rather than being descriptive, and this person usually pays their loan on time and the rest of them, how do we put all of these together into a single number, giving a certain bench, and say that this is this person's credit score, this is the other person's credit score, this is the credit score for Unilever Ghana Limited, this is the credit score for Ghana Oil Company Limited, etc., etc. And that is what we are saying. You see, once numbers are applied to credit worthiness, credit status, it helps to be able to, as it were, evaluate and make proper or better informed decisions. And that is what we are talking about. We always say that let a decision be driven by data. Of course, I agree. Qualitative is data, but stronger data. Once it's quantitative, and we are dealing with an architecture that is highly founded on numbers. Once you have that data, then you are able to say that, yes, this is the score of, say, Jesse Atari Danso, and Jesse Atari Danso is closer to 10. Therefore, the chances that when I lend money to Jesse Atari Danso is going to pay is very high. But Amankwa's score is about 2 out of 10. It means that when I borrow money to Amankwa would not be able to pay me back. What then should I do as a bank? Should I lend money to Amankwa? No.
Let me tell Amankwa that for me to give him a loan, he has to pay 45% interest rate. That would demotivate Amankwa or disincentivize him from coming to borrow money. No problem with anyone, because once you do that, then you see the interest rate we pay on loans is a price. We are pricing risk. We are pricing risk. And someone who is risky, we need to price him more than somebody who is not risky. Just we may even give Jesse 5% to 10%, and then we'll push the higher price to Amankwa, whose score is quite low, and we'll say you should pay 45% to disincentivize him. And that is why I think that this is a game changer for us.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about the minimum capital requirement extension. Yesterday, I tried to touch on that briefly. Now, the Bank of Ghana extended the deadline for credit bureaus to meet the new 6 million Ghana cedis minimum capital requirements. Why would you say that this increase is important, and could the extension have any downsides?
Right. You see, the increase of the minimum capital requirement from 500,000 Ghana cedis to 6 million Ghana cedis, I think it's a major leap, and it's a reflection of Bank of Ghana's desire to strengthen the resilience and the sustainability of credit bureaus. Higher capitalization ensures that these institutions have the financial muscle to invest in secure IT systems, maintain high data quality, and withstand some level of operational shocks. You see, it is also in alignment with Ghana's standards, especially when you benchmark that against international best practices, where credit bureaus are expected to have the resources to be able to handle huge amounts of sensitive data without service interruption. And in an era of cyber threats and growing data demand, this capital boost is as much about safeguarding public trust as it is about operational efficiency. You see, the last time I was telling a friend of mine, gone are the days where we didn't have mobile money, and you needed to carry cash in your pocket, go to a bank to save and the rest of them. Today, there is mobile money. Today, banks have apps. All of a sudden, there is an advent of a group of people who are, we call them cyber whatever. These people are now robbing people. You are there and somebody calls you. Maternity come out. Now, Fairness is Kanemami. And all of a sudden, they wipe out everything in your account. Today, we have guys who are just getting into people's accounts and then taking away all their money. That didn't exist many years ago when we didn't have these systems. That gives us a certain kind of understanding to appreciate the level at which increase or improvement in technology comes with a certain level of threat, and for which reason you need to safeguard yourself against such threat. If you fail to do so, then you become a prey to the predator, and they are going to have access to you. And so it is imperative that the bureaus, their capital level is high. Why would this be high? 6 million Ghana cedis does not necessarily mean 6 million Ghana cedi cash. No. There is a combination of access, investment in infrastructure, etc., etc. Typically, people think capital requirement simply means the cash, 5 million Ghana cedi, 6 million Ghana cedi cash. No, that is not it. The strength of the organization. That is the capital. And that is what we are referring to. See, basic accounting model, your asset is equal to your equity plus your liability. That equity in there is capital, in some sense. So that is really what I mean. So I think the extension to June 2025 is pragmatic, especially to give the Bureau some time to raise the capital without disrupting their services. However, the downside is that until the new requirement is met, some bureaus may be operating with less capacity to invest in technology or to expand their coverage. And I think that if we don't carefully manage that, it could slow down innovations like real-time reporting or comprehensive credit scoring. And I think for borrowers and lenders, that means the full benefit of a robustly capitalized credit bureau industry might take a bit longer to materialize.
All right. I'm trying to let us touch on most of the things so that we can make a lot of progress. And now we saw the licensing of My Credit Score Limited as a third credit bureau. Yes. How might more competition in the credit reporting space impact lending rates and access to credit?
Thank you. You see, the entry of my credit score limited adds competition to an industry that was previously dominated by just two players, XDS Data Ghana and Dunen and Broad Street Credit Bureau. You see, in theory, and I have to say in theory because sometimes you know the theory is something. In theory, practically, more competition should drive innovation, improve service quality, and potentially lower the cost of credit report access for lenders. And this can indirectly affect lending rates if the reduced operational costs for banks are passed on to borrowers. This is something we do in the theory. And it also means there's more incentive for bureaus to expand their data coverage and refine the analytics, especially to the extent that it could help lenders to make better decisions and extend credit to segments they previously avoided or segments that were not in the bracket and either too. However, the benefit would depend on how effectively the new bureau can differentiate itself. Differentiation is important. Let me tell you something. MTN Ghana Limited, if you like, Scancon Ghana Limited, they have differentiated themselves. In Ghana, I'm sure if you take 5 people, about 4 of them use MTN. And that is like a fact. And even those who don't use MTN, they may even have an MTN SIM. In a system where there are a number of competitors, the way you win that game is to differentiate yourself. Let me tell you, there are so many football clubs in the world, but you can see some level of differentiation with clubs like Real Madrid, of course. Manchester United, they will say, but you know, like the anthem say, they are just history. It's glory, glory. It's in the past.
Right.
And some others. Yeah, but that is the point. You need to differentiate yourself. If you fail to differentiate yourself, you'll be at the bottom end of the curve.
True.
So the benefit largely lies in your ability to differentiate. If, for instance, you bring advanced analytics on board, better integration into fintech platforms, or you have faster dispute resolution, let me tell you, it could raise the standard for the entire industry. And you become what we call the market leader in that space. And that is what every organization wants to get to. When we talk about telecommunication industry, nobody will doubt that MTN is the market leader. When we talk about senior high school in Ghana, I'm sure you know which school is the market leader.
You don't want to go there.
I don't want to
Please
mention it, but
stick to the numbers. Stick to the numbers we're talking
and the rest
about.
of that.
Right.
If we talk about technology in the world, I'm sure you know the country that is leading that. If we talk about efficiency in doing things, some will say Germany, some will say Japan. It depends on how you look at it.
Right.
So if you want to be a market leader, then you need to differentiate yourself. Literally, on the other hand, if all 3 bureaus provide essentially the same services, then the impact on lending rates and access to credit might be quite minimal.
Okay.
The Bank of Ghana's oversight will be key in ensuring that competition remains healthy and benefits the broader economy to the largest extent.
Right. Okay. You were talking earlier about the petroleum downstream credit reporting, and I think that is not something that has been in the reports in the past. And now we are seeing that the petroleum downstream credit reporting initiative now includes PSPs, which is the petroleum service providers. How could this shape lending and credit risk management in that particular sector? Now, I asked that question because over there, I think somewhere last year towards this year, we've seen that there's a lot of issues when it comes to credits in the energy sector largely. And petroleum downstream has been one of the areas. So tell us how this could shape lending and risk management in that particular sector.
And that's a very excellent question. You know, the introduction of the PSP, what we call the petroleum service providers, you know, including them in the credit reporting system, is a huge step. It's a big step towards reducing the sector's credit risk. You know, the petroleum sector, the downstream sector in itself, has a history. It has a past record, and we know what that is. Delays in payment and, if you like, default, inability to repay the money that they have borrowed. Now, and even knock-on effects where one player's default can trigger liquidity challenges across the entire chain. So by requiring these PSP, when I use PSP, I mean the petroleum service providers, when you require them to share the access to credit data, lenders and suppliers can now better access the risk of, as it were, extending trade credit to companies in this space. And I think, to some extent, it brings in some level of transparency, making it harder for habitual defaulters to move undetected from one supplier to the other. There is some level of information sharing. And once there is information sharing, the literature tells us that the level of risk is reduced. I mean credit risk is reduced. And once credit risk is reduced, then we are able to curtail significantly the ability of habitual defaulters to move across suppliers, because the suppliers would know that this is a particular defaulter, and that information has been shared, and that supplier is not really going to, as it were, tolerate such a PSP. And I think the long-term impact is the stabilization of the sector and their financing environment. You see, with clearer visibility into each company's credit behavior, financial institutions may be more willing to offer working capital loans or structured financing to well-performing petroleum service providers. And as we know it, that will improve their operational efficiency and even reduce fuel supply disruption. But my brother, there is always a but. The success of the initiative largely will hinge on the completeness and accuracy of the data that is submitted by the players. Partial participation would undermine the effectiveness of state.
I see. So we're going to see, I mean, we're going to see some
reduction in the level of credit risk.
Yeah.
We are going to see improvements in how the players work across. You know, in a system that is clouded with default, it's like
right.
It's shed more light on what has been happening, and suppliers will be better informed on how to work with these petroleum service providers.
Looking at the data, I see that 99.7% of the loan data submitted were for individuals. Is Ghana's corporate credit market underrepresented in the credit reporting system?
Certainly, 99.7 is a huge number.
Yeah.
That is just 0.3%, 0.3% of the
corporate.
100%.
Yeah.
So, yeah, out of over 61 million loans, 61 million Ghana cedi loans records that were submitted monthly in 2024, almost all related to individuals, with corporate loan data making up just a fraction. This could be due to the fact that large corporate loans are often few in number but high in value. And in some cases, lenders might be slower in updating corporate loan records due to the complexity of these facilities. Injury is without a doubt that there is still some gap. It means that these credit reporting systems may not be giving a full picture of the corporate lending implications.
Hello? Hello, Ima? Hello? Hello? All right, I think we lost Emmanuel there. We'll try and reconnect him so that we can continue the conversation. Yeah, but of course, he said a lot of things. We've spoken about the petroleum downstream.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Right.
Good.
Yeah.
So
you're making a point. Yeah. So I was actually going to ask you the implications. So.
Oh, very well.
Very well. Go ahead.
They are quite significant. Without a comprehensive corporate credit history, lenders may either overestimate risk. When you overestimate risk, what happens is that you price risk higher than it should. So they will either overestimate risk or face larger losses in the event of default. That can be seen through the underestimation of risk. When you also underestimate risk, you price risk lower than you should. Once you have priced risk lower, it means that you are going to advance loans. You are going to advance monies to persons who are riskier than you have priced them. Therefore, they are likely to default. Once they default, that is losses on your books. And once you have losses on your books, I think that it will affect your trade finance as other stakeholders like suppliers and landlords lose out on valuable risk assessment data. So improving corporate data submission would not only benefit banks, but also enhance Ghana's attractiveness to investors who are looking for transparent business credit environment.
Right. Okay, there are lots of other things in the report, but because of time, we'll wrap up here, and then hopefully we have further conversations in the coming days. But just a few things that maybe you may want to comment on. Now we see a drop, a 15% drop in debt checks, check incidents. Really, is this simply the result of public education, or could it reflect changes in payment habits? Hello, Ima.
Yeah, Nicholas, I'm here.
Yes, I'm saying that we will just go now, but just before that, we've seen a 15% drop in debt check incidents, and I'm asking whether this
now,
is.
We may want to explain debt checks.
Yeah, sure.
Checks that are bounced.
Yeah.
For various reasons.
Yeah.
Various reasons.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes the person doesn't even have money, and so many things. Now,
so I'm asking whether it's
drop in debt.
Yes, I'm asking whether it is a matter of public education. Is it that people are more educated now, or maybe some change? We are seeing some changes in the payment habits of individuals.
I think you're right. Public education by the central bank certainly has played a key role, as more people now understand that issuing a debt check can damage their credit history and limit their future access to loans.
Right.
And I think the enforcement of penalties and sanctions for non-compliance has also reinforced this behavioral shift as we have seen. However, changes in payment habits are also part of the story. As electronic payment systems, mobile money, and instant bank transfers become more widespread, I think reliance on checks and therefore the likelihood of check default naturally declines. For businesses, especially small and medium-scale enterprises, this digital space offers more immediate verification of funds, reducing the risk of bounce payments. And I think the key thing that we should pay attention to going forward will be to maintain public awareness while continuing to expand secure digital payment options. So I think you're right. Public education has certainly played a significant role. But of course, a few things I've added are also of prime importance.
Okay, Ima, I'll let you go now. And maybe we can have other conversations. There are so many things the report talks about. We can talk about a very interesting one is the rise in complaints. Now,
I see you don't want to
go. I want to go, but there are a lot of other interesting things, and maybe finally, maybe this will be our last thing I'd want you to touch on. We see a rise in complaints, and I'm asking that because of the sharp contrast. I mean, we're seeing things drop, we're seeing debt checks drop, and all of that, but the complaints are increasing, and I see that complaints to credit bureaus increase slightly, with some escalated to even the Bank of Ghana. Would you say?
This just pricked my mind. People shouldn't think credit bureaus are the same as forex bureaus.
Okay, very important.
You know, in Ghana, bureau there, Obiati said it's $100.
Yeah.
But we are talking about
credit bureau.
Yeah, it just, I mean, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm asking that, does this suggest some greater public awareness also, or maybe some persistent weaknesses in dispute resolution?
Let me put it this way. The rise from 1,596 complaints in 2023 to 1,617 last year, I think it's relatively small. But the nature of the complaint is more telling than the number itself. Let me explain that. Some were escalated to the Bank of Ghana because borrowers were dissatisfied with how credit bureaus or lenders handled this kind of dispute.
Right.
This could indicate weakness in internal dispute resolution processes, such as delays, lack of transparency, or poor communication that frustrates customers. On the other hand, the increase could also be seen positively as evidence of growing public awareness. More borrowers now know they can challenge errors in their reports, and they are taking steps to do so.
Right.
In the long run, a robust and trusted dispute resolution mechanism will be essential for maintaining public confidence in the credit reporting system. And I think that without it, even accurate and comprehensive data could be undermined by perception of unfairness. Sometimes that is really the issue. When people perceive that they are being unfair, it makes it appear as though the whole thing is bad. But sometimes once you are able to resolve issues amicably, I think that the complaint in itself will not also escalate in exacerbating the whole situation.
Okay. Right. Okay, Ima, I'll let you go now. Any final words?
I think this is quite a good item we are discussing this morning. It's a good report, especially in these times that we are having some level of non-performing loans, some level of credit risk issues, among other things. In fact, I think I'm going to ask one of my colleagues to pay attention to this discussion this morning and perhaps also have the report. I know he's doing some study around this area, waiting to publish it. And I think some of these insights we have shared, of course, we are not doing regression and stuff here, but it will play a key role in how he presents his whole problem in his paper that he's writing. But
Right.
I think it's a good discussion we've had, and kudos to everyone. Thank you to all our listeners.
All right. Thank you to Ima. We're so grateful. Please enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
All right, that was Emmanuel Boating, our in-house economic analyst, helping us understand exactly the credit reporting activity report, which was released by the Bank of Ghana, and a lot of things have been said in there. I hope that you got some value from this conversation, and that helps you maybe in your lending and borrowing habits as a business or as an individual. Well, yeah, if you missed any part of this conversation, please visit our social media platform. On Facebook, we're at ZFMGH on Facebook, and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please visit these platforms. You can play back this particular video or audio if anyone you like, right? So we get into our roundtable discussion, which will be our big conversation and our last conversation for today. But just before that, we'll take a quick music break, and then when we return, my guest will join me. I have an economist coming in, and then we will have a conversation on whether the lending rates will actually affect the cost of borrowing. We're going to see, we see lending rates dropping. We're going to see whether it's going to affect the cost of borrowing, and that's a very important conversation I believe you don't want to miss. So please stick and stay. Let's get into that very soon, right after this music break.
Is that your testimony? Listen. Even before I pray, Jehovah Nissi answered me. So that you could, He has done it for me. Yes, and given me peace of mind. So that you could, He has done it for me. See the way He answered me. So that you could, so that you
I go look to the hills, mountains and valleys, from whence come my help, from no one but you. I have searched and searched through humanity. Is there one like you? There's no one like you. Yeah. How you love me, no one knows how far it goes. You have said in your word, ask and you receive all your heart desire. You supply all my needs. Sing how you love, how you love, how far it goes. Sing how you
Exactly 3 minutes after 9. This is the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. And a few dedications. Happy birthday going out to Albert Mensah. It has been amazing knowing you. And thank you for the years of friendship and tutelage. It says that continue to grow and be the best version of yourself. And also may the Lord shine on you and be gracious to you. Have a blessed day. This is from Daniela Entry to you, Albert Mensah. And from all of us here at Z 101.9 FM, we pray that you live beyond 101.9. Happy birthday, Albert. All right, very soon we get into our roundtable discussion, and my guest will join me pretty soon for that conversation. We're going to talk about the lending rates and whether it's going to ease the pressure on businesses in Ghana. We'll continue to, enjoy this one, and we will be right back.
Ooh, bring it on, bring it on. You, bring it on. Life know the sweet though, if some people know the hate too. So use the number 6 so and calculate. You go see the ratio. The beef self na me though, whether not asu then relate to. So bring your own crayfish, oh, we go mix so, oh Lord. Shane and them talk say we no go blow. Share them they see us now, we don't they glow. Take a look at me now, take a look at me now. We're running things in this band. Can't you see? I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you do. Just as long as you're chasing money, do what's right, never give up on it. Bring it on, bring it on. Are you ready? No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall. Bring it on, bring it on. Are you ready? No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall and rising, rising.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Bring it on. This life is not easy. So much hustling and bustling. Everyone is struggling. So make it
101.9 FM.
Everyone is chasing. You're never gonna make it. Never say no. Never give up. Keep your head up. Standing tall. And for sure, you go turn it up. Turn it up. Turn down for what? Shane and them talk say we no go blow. Share them they see us now, we don't they glow. Take a look at me now, take a look at me now. We're running things in this town. Can't you see? I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you do. Just as long as you're chasing money, do what's right, never give up on it. Bring it on, bring it on. Are you ready? No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall. Bring it on, bring it on. Are you ready? No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall and rising, rising, rising.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Where you're from or what you do, just as long as you're
chasing money. Do what's right, never give up on it. Bring it on, bring it on. Are you ready? Are you ready? No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall. Bring it on, bring it on. Are you ready? Are you ready? No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall. And rising, rising, rising. Keep it high, rising, rising.
Another real life story.
Another brilliant classic.
Hustling from Chaka to Mamprobi, from a Simon to Kotobabi. With a burn under the sun, but still give Jaja the glory. Well then. Sometimes he be doctor, I they carry. Meet by bra, I they rush, I they hurry. Hey, that about for what he be like, say, Kaya yo, anyway, waiting be my home. I'm not in this alone. Because somebody they sweat for the air condition, he be low, need it home. Send me the mitibu bone, that's a one day me, yeah. That's a one day me, yeah. One I'm a done when I want a bet you titi. A lot of mercy, send me the mitibu bone, that's a one day me, yeah. That's a one day me, yeah. One I'm a done when I want a bet you titi. A lot of mercy, nobody no. Nobody no. Nobody no. No tomorrow. Nobody no. Nobody no. Nobody no. No tomorrow. Osila never envy another man. Osila never envy another soul. Cause you never know whatever the plan. But who know I go reap whatever you sow. And then be happy for the people who succeed. Cause everything that you wish for them, the same you receive. Karma is a man you can deceive. Success is a state of mind, don't be caught up in greed. No matter what you do, the rich man die. No matter what you say, the poor man dies too. We are hustling, but for a while, someday we are gonna fade away. Send me the mitibu bone, that's a one day me, yeah. That's a one day me, yeah. One I'm a done when I wanna bet you a titi. A lot of mercy. Send me the mitibu bone, that's a one day me, yeah. That's a one day me, yeah. One I'm a done when I wanna bet you a titi. A lot of mercy, nobody.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
To the other, trusting everybody. Long time me don't tell you, my brother. Can't move stuff, move harder. Cut like dagger when million situation gather. Life is a race. While me around, me not go looking at the face. Stick me a speed up and I increase the pace. Whatever God give, nobody can replace. Nobody can take. I see a brand new day. All of the things that I done, I go on my knees and God still here. I know it is not by might, it is not by power. Everything by grace, you. All of the things by grace, you. Every little thing by grace, you. All by the grace of God, everything by grace, you. All of the things by grace, you. Every little thing by grace, you. All by the grace of God, on top again, where mama day, I know we rest in peace. On top again, just well every place. I got my shit got more than this. Give thanks to the fans them. Them are the one day we got my back from the very beginning. Big are the anthems and man and champagne. Thanking Jah for my out and coming in. Everything by grace, yo. All of the things by grace, yo. Every little thing by grace, yo. All by the grace of God, everything by grace, yo. All of the things by grace, yo. Every little thing by grace, yo. All by the grace of God, Let me tell you this a blessing and a blessing and a blessings.
Zed 101.9 FM. Zed 101.9 FM.
Obiniema Kasama to Kofi with the prison man will lose on Tony. Tarado, Obiniema, Ankamielo, Lima Mushishobi, Makamasa Machira Nupoma, Minyobia, Monteo, Masemi, Camielo, Lima Mushishobi, Obi, Mamamunyu Machila Nupoma, Minyobia, Monteo, Adubulanda. Okuyanda su still yewu wasro kwaswana kube musu we makendi je ya dan musu we steady midama su still wo jadi wandu amiti wandu ana did the same I did that now and they want to na wale kanchi nyamadugu yado nasuni na etumu ambe se fide sufu e fide bubu magofi mulu bluzi na meja savena irade nyawa waya ya mantasi nyawanka au jade nyawa shohinu bakwe nyawanka adubu wila nyawanka irade nyawanka mama ayabobi mamu antama ayabompaya bobi mago fiate mama ayabobi mamu antama ayabompaya bobi mago fiate mama malai mameni ewa mama kani na chilawa wala mameni ewa mama kani na chilawa wala senye binoyo sempo binoyo sambo binoyo oya semo ashe ya na yele sham your tamfuni di binyimno intokono puti paka musu na so tamfuni yankura ya musume yankuno baba beti masam no de bulbokono fini pande mama hawa hari fiabo sianya ucha hacha yendo wa nyawa.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
101.9 FM.
I feel say na me serious. The same got to move na me sissy. Ya kwa mi kubi ya ba me ba na me na se kan ya ma kunta. Cause we are simo bi show bibe. Timi ya ju ma den na ma tipe. Aban you met so me chilipi. Make a cravey me money me. Kuyana mat. One corner, one dana. So oti asia na na yama. I ran to my bro, me young commander. But music, I'm a member. I'm a member. Tell me, Bana, come on, tell me, Bana, come on, move you. Can't give me the survey. I can't get in the survey. Tell me, Bana, come on, tell me, Bana, come on, move you. I can't get it, come in the survey. Get it, come in the survey.
101.9 FM.
All by your mercy and your grace, I am grateful. You've turned my life around. Now I'm a shining star.
Last year by this time I'm daddy. Miniscal, me go to but I'm a planning. I don't want to go do more routine. I have me. Dima teme kame kuti bona babe kame. Boka masam de via minte. Mene oka na se minte. I'm focused.
The best I am own boss. And chan on a fit. I be boss and ben a mante. They say my song be a real one quan. And so until be a just having quan. I know go round from me. Today them say they be. None in a me that's it. Mama can't phone cause of the asset. Tell it pano come on you. Tell it pano come in with you. Take give me the shabby. Take me the shabby. Tell it pano come on you. Tell it pano come in with you. Take come in the shabby. Take come in the shabby.
Praise the Lord, hallelujah in the highest. Nyawa and your sin and your someday. All by your mercy and your grace, I am grateful. You turned my life around. Now I'm a shining star.
Zed 101.9 FM.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9. This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
All right, welcome back. It's only 20 minutes after 9. This is a business breakfast on Z101.9 FM, and we get into our roundtable discussion this morning. Now, if you've been following the news lately, you know there's been quite a buzz in the business community. Lending rates are finally coming down. The Bank of Ghana policy rate has dropped by 300 basis points in recent months. Inflation is at its lowest in over 3 years, and analysts are cautiously optimistic. But here's a big question: will this relief on paper translate into, real relief for Ghanaian businesses? Because let's be honest, many of you listening to us right now, whether you run a factory in Tema, a fintech startup in East Legon, a cocoa farming in the Western region, you know that access to affordable credit can make or break your growth plans. And cheaper money should, in theory, make it easier for businesses to expand, hire more people, and also to innovate. But in practice, it is not always that straightforward. Commercial banks may not pass on the full benefit quickly. Risk appetite might remain low. And even when the interest rates number looks better, there are a few hurdles here and there, like collateral demands, loan processing, delays, and market uncertainty that can still hold businesses back. And that is why today we are putting this question under the microscope with a distinguished economist, Dr. Felix Larry Esilfi. He is the executive director of IDER, and he's an economist as well. And he's having this conversation with me. Doc, you're welcome to the Business Breakfast on Zed.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for having me here this morning.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well by His grace.
Great. Okay, so let's get into our conversation this morning. Of course, let's start with the monetary policy rate. Now, 300 basis points cut by the Bank of Ghana, the biggest in our history, and has been described as something very bold and unexpected by the Bank of Ghana. How significant is this move really in the broader economic context?
Okay, so once again, thank you very much for having me, and a very good morning to our cherished listeners and the viewers on on all your social media handles. Yes, so first of all, whenever there is monetary policy, rate changes, be it increase or decrease, there is a reason backing that, and there are some economic indicators that is triggering such a change, be it increase or decrease. If you look at this administration, when they took office, the monetary policy rate was quite higher, and it was not high just because the then administration wanted it to be high. If you recall, certain weak economic activities of the previous administration caused us to have a situation where we call the hyperinflation. And so I think at that time, the inflation somewhere 2022 thereabouts or early part of 2023, stand to be corrected, inflation was above 54% because of illegal printing of money and some economic policies that were not really good at that time. So to curtail that, and based on the IMF kind of conditionalities, one of the indicators was that the government of Ghana at that time should do everything possible to bring the inflation down.
Right.
And so at that time, the then government, through the Ministry of Finance, thought it wise to, peg the monetary policy rate as, at a certain point that will help, in curtailing or controlling the inflation trajectory. And so one of the, reasons for for using a monetary policy rate, or a government setting up a monetary policy rate to control economic activities, is also to actually, control inflation. And so that was the target at that time. When this government assumed office, fast forward, they realized that one of the reasons for which inflation was higher was that the government was competing the private sector for loans or for capital. So in economics, we call it crowding out. So government was also on the financial market scavenging for credit in order to finance public, strategic public investment. And the private sector also needs that same credit to be able to do business. And financial institutions are not Father Christmas.
Of course.
The risk associated in giving loan to private sector is higher than the risk of giving loans to government, no matter what government will repay.
Right.
But for credit, for private sector, it's more or less like a bit risky. You could see that non-performing loans in the financial market at that time was also very high. So the financial institutions thought it wise to rather lend it to government, rather than the private sector. As a result of that, there was something called crowding out, and so sectors were not getting kind of credit for the businesses that they want to, or for the kind of business investment that they want to embark on.
Right.
Now, when that happened, there was unemployment, and then other economic downturn, indicators. Inflation was soaring high and all of that. So the reason for government to, peg the monetary policy rate at that time was, that. Now, this government, again, fast forward, decided that, well, I'm not going to borrow haphazardly from the financial market. Rather, one of the ways to curtail inflation is to strategically peg the inflation, the monetary policy rate at a particular level, and reduce my borrowing, and then embark on expenditure-based fiscal consolidation. So if you heard the finance minister, he says, I'm going to cut waste. When you cut waste, that expenditure-based fiscal consolidation, what it means is that when you cut waste, the monies that would have been wasted are, kept by government to be able to create enough fiscal space to undertake strategic government expenditure. So one of the things that they did was to, go to the treasury market, and then when they actually issue out the bonds, or what happened was that there was oversubscription, but the finance minister, through the government at that time, refused to take the excess. So you could see that there was excess liquidity in the system. The Bank of Ghana then came in to use what is called sterilization technique to curtail the excess liquidity in the system to stabilize the whole thing, and then for us to be able to have a controllable inflation. Now you can see that I think inflation is around 13-point-something%. The last time I checked, I'm sure it has come down.
12.1.
I'm sure it has come down further. So the reason now the Bank of Ghana has, decided that And even in the second quarter, the Bank of Ghana still maintained the monetary policy rate that is set for the first quarter, just to keep the inflation down. Now that inflation is at a very comfortable, state, 12 point something, we are just past half of the year. We are now in the 8th month, so technically the year will end in the next 4 months, and we have 12%, 12 point something percent, which means that it's good if whatever policies that the government is putting in place is continued. We may realize the single digit that the Bank of Ghana predicted. Okay, now that the inflation is also down, and then you will see that our CD has also gained some sort of strength through certain policies. We now have more or less kind of positive trade balance and all of that. You could see that the economy is more or less stabilized. And so for businesses to also have some sort of effect or feeling of the benefit that we have chalked, the Bank of Ghana realized that, okay, let me reduce the monetary policy rate so that capital or cost of capital will be cheaper in the financial market for businesses to take up. And so that is how come the monetary policy rate has been reduced by the government of Ghana, okay, or the Bank of Ghana. Now that this has happened, it is expected that the lending rate, so the monetary policy rate is set by the government through the Bank of Ghana to control, the cost of borrowing, inflation, liquidity, and overall economic activities. The lending rate is the rate at which the banks will charge, for issuing out loans to individuals or, private sector, businesses. And in economics, another term is opportunity cost of capital. So, for example, if the government or if the Bank of Ghana has the monetary policy rate, let's say at 23%, the banks will also, in order to, there is a risk for issuing out loans, we also say that, okay, we are adding, say, 5% to it. So it's going to be like 28% interest rate. That 28% is what is called the lending rate. So whenever monetary policy rate goes down, it is expected by economic, sense that, the cost of capital, or in other words, the lending rate will also come down. And when it happens like there are a lot of, benefits that businesses actually enjoy.
We're going to get into it a bit more, but of course, like you mentioned, inflation has dropped significantly. Now we're doing 12.1% in July. And so we see that there's some easing coming there. But does that signal a genuine turning point, or it is too early to celebrate?
We need to, yes, it will be a premature ejaculation to, celebrate. Because, you see, the cost of doing business in this country goes beyond just cost of borrowing.
Right.
There are other, direct and indirect variables that also influence the cost of business. But I think the major one is the cost of borrowing. That is the lending rate. So, yes, the monetary policy rate has gone down. We need to see how the banks are also going to compute their lending rate, that will be used as an interest rate for businesses that borrow. I think it is too early for us to see that. But definitely, the reduction in the monetary policy rate is huge, quite significant, that no matter what, if the system is fair, then we should be able to see it reflecting in the lending rate as well.
In the lending rates, right. So when I had a conversation with Professor Swimming at the University of Ghana Business School, and he was saying that it wasn't going to, we're not going to see the changes reflecting in the lending rates anytime soon. I don't know whether you share in the same stance.
Yes, I share with him. Greetings to Prof. He's one of the greatest economists that I most of the times follow. He and Professor Bob King. So greetings to him. I agree. If you recall, just a few seconds, I was saying that the cost of doing business in this country goes beyond the lending rate. Yes. So even though the monetary policy rate has gone down, we're expecting that the lending rate will actually also go down. But the point is that there are other direct and indirect variables that will also influence the cost of doing business. So yes, we will not see that. And even with the transmission effect of the monetary policy rate drop to the lending rate, there are other things that businesses will also consider. Because first of all, they have to look at the economic indicators of the economy. Of course, there are some of them that are obvious. We know that they are positive. Again, the business environment, the risk factors, you know, and all of that. They need to consider how businesses are even faring now. You understand? All of them contribute to the risk computation, which will arrive at the margin that banks will also have to add to the monetary policy rate level to get their lending rate to be able to loan. So it's that's why I said it is a premature ejaculation for us to, you know. You see, the economic structure of this country, we need to be careful. Anytime there is a positive gain, the transmission effect is quite slow. Because the system, you know, institutions that are supposed to regulate. So that is one of the reasons I agree with Prof.
Okay.
Even there are institutional factors. The business environment, you know, is controlled by institutional factors. Regulate bodies are not doing what they are supposed to do. Individuals are not doing what they are supposed to do. The businesses themselves are also expecting to get, you know, unwarranted profit margins. You understand? And this thing ought to, you know, be regulated by the institutions. And since the institutions in charge of this regulations are not working.
Which institutions are you referring to?
We have the Chambers of Commerce. We have Investment Promotion Council. We have even the Registrar General. We have the GRA. These are the bodies that are supposed to ensure that businesses are doing the right thing in the system. We have Association of Ghana Industries also there. You know, they are more or less like a civil society that, you know, advocate for businesses and all of that. But they also have a duty to ensure that their members are doing what is the what is
talk
right.
about TUC and all of those
TUC, exactly. Then labor unions, trade unions, and other, I mean, formal and informal business associations and all of that. All these people, all these entities ought to be regulated. But if the government is behaving like a toothless bulldog, and then they do, that is why the last time when I was here, I said, look, the government can even ensure that the exchange rate in terms of CD to a dollar is 1 CD to a dollar. If regulations are not properly, you know, pursued, we're not going to have the full benefit. Your guess is, I mean, you remember when I was, I think, one Saturday morning show, or one of the morning shows, I was saying that, look, even the pricing of commodities at the market, when the dollar to the CD and all other major currencies, the CD was showing strength. You could see that people were still complaining when they go to the market, things are expensive. But let there be a situation whereby now the dollar gains strength, and let's say it moves from 10 cities to 15 cities. You will see that even the previous goods that they imported, they will add all of them. And then give a new price to it. So who actually regulates the system to ensure that when it is time for the consumers to benefit, they are ensuring that the businesses are doing the right thing for the consumers to benefit. And when businesses are supposed to benefit, they are ensuring that the consumers also do what is right for businesses to benefit. That symbiotic relationship, you know, somebody ought to supervise that. And
are you in any way calling for price control?
Yes, I price control. Look, Ghana is not a free market economy. I keep saying that, look, we are a mixed economy. In the olden days under President Rawlings's regime, we were under centrally planned economy. So if you like, take one of the budget statements read by Honorable Kwame Pepra, they even posted the price of kenke, how much a price of kenke is supposed to be sold in the major, business centers across the country and all of that. That is centrally planned. Government controlling prices, absolutely. And at that time, businesses or private sector had little or no control or say or participation in determining prices. Then, under the regime of President Kufuor, he pursued what is called free market economy. He said, let's change the way we do the budgeting, allow the private sector to determine, in this case, the forces of demand and supply, should be the game changer to determine the prices. So at that time, the private sector also had a say and all of that. But gradually realized that, then you saw that consumer, Honorable Mr. Kofi Kapito and co started consumer advocacy and all of that. You understand? Now we have gotten to a stage where we are in a mixed market economy. And I can give you an example. Look at the petroleum sector. We have NPA, right? Government is regulating price control. That is how come when the dollar and the other major currencies were falling short against the CD, we saw marginal decrease in the distance. Public Utility Regulatory, PURC, they are also in charge of that. If you go to the medical field, I think National Health Insurance has another mandate to regulate the prices of other essential medical kind of items like key medicines and medical tools and all of that. Why can't we do that for other sectors?
Is it very realistic to be able to do that?
It is. As I speak to you, Bank of Ghana has a unit that is in charge of that. But like I said, institutional failure. You see, the trade union, the Association of Ghana Industries and all of that, they are supposed to be managed and controlled by the Bank of Ghana. I've forgotten the unit. There is a unit in Bank of Ghana that is supposed to ensure that whenever there is a positive gain and consumers are supposed to benefit, they regulate the system to ensure that, consumers get the right benefit. But if we leave the market loose like that, there is what is called collusion. You understand? Importers, the wholesalers, retailers, and all other business, entities will collude to have what is called a hyper profit agenda. And that is unethical in the business circles. So when that happens, what you see is that government is doing everything possible. You see on paper and even in the forex that the cedi is doing well, but it doesn't reflect in the pocket of the people.
I am tempted to stay on that for a few minutes before we come back to our conversation for today. What are the effects? I know that price control has certain effects on people. What are the effects of that? And while you answer that, okay, I have another question, but just you may want to attempt that. What are the effects of price control?
Okay, so price
I know
control.
there are negative and positive effects. You may want to.
Yes, so the negatives come when one of the negatives, I just said, when the institution in charge of the price control, I don't want to use the word price control.
Okay.
It sounds too forceful and like it's more or less like militancy.
I understand.
But I want to use regulation. When the institution in charge of the price regulation fails to do its job, the negative effect is that consumers don't see the full benefit of the economic downturn or the economic gains that the government is making. And if the regulatory institution also, flex its muscle so hard, it also affects businesses.
Okay.
So when we say price regulation, the reason I said I don't want to use the control. When price regulation is a system where there is more or less like a meeting or a meeting point where the businesses will not lose, they get ethical profit. And then the consumer is also not placed at a disadvantaged position, and they get whatever benefit they also ought to get. For example, if the exchange rate is going high, in this case the cedi is performing poorly, like we saw in some previous years, what it means is that the cost of importation is very high. And so it is fair for the businesses who are imported, because majority of the things we consume in this country are imported. Let's face the fact.
Right.
So it is fair for the importers also to at least pass a margin of the extra that they are incurring to bring the goods into the country. It is fair for that. So the regulatory system or the regulatory institution can come in to help these importers to set a margin that will cushion them to recover their capital and get some reasonable profit, whilst the consumer is also encouraged or made to pay a bit more in a fair manner to be able to get the good that they want. But if you make it loose, there's collusion amongst the importers and other business entities to set prices in order to get unethical profit. If you make it too restrictive, you collapse businesses, because in this case you are forcing businesses to set unrealistic prices that will actually disadvantage them, even erode their capitals, and then they go bankrupt or they shut down. So regulation is a win-win kind of thing. If it is well done, businesses benefit, consumers benefit. But remember, you see, all of us are consumers before we even become businesses. If you have to remember that. Yes, the person selling, let's say, bags of rice in Medina Market has forgotten that he has electricity bills to pay, or he'll go and buy maybe a mosquito coil or a bread somewhere. We are all consumers. So the regulatory institutions ought to do that kind of regulation to ensure that there is a win-win or a fair level, a fair playing ground for both businesses and consumers.
I see. But how do you deal with the fact, when businesses tell you that I restocked my stuff a while ago and I haven't gone to restock, and so the new changes in the macroeconomic, in the economy really hasn't affected my business positively in any way yet. So how do I mean, reduce my prices if we're doing price control? How do you handle that?
It's a fair argument, but they abuse it. That is why whenever the regulatory institutions are working fairly, they can set a date with which the new price regime will take effect, making room for old stock that were imported based on the old kind of economic condition to actually get cleared before the new ones that are going to benefit from the new economic conditions setting for the price regime to take effect. You understand?
Yeah.
So it all borders on regulation. You understand? When the regulatory institutions are working well, they understand that, of course, yesterday when you were importing, you imported it at a particular price regime or at a particular cost. Now there is a new economic condition that is warranting or causing, demanding that you are supposed to, reduce your prices. The regulatory institution is so reasonable that they cannot force businesses to, add old stock that were actually imported at a higher cost and then reduce the price just because there is a new economic condition that is, showing that there should be a decrease. So normally the regulatory, if you go to the US, UK, and even the UK, where it is purely capitalist economy, you understand?
Yeah.
There is it is still, classified. If you look at the nature, it is still a mixed market economy. Government comes in to regulate to ensure that there is a fair deal, where businesses are not going to lose. So anything like the example you cited that will make businesses lose out, they are protected. Because remember, they are also, apart from the fact that you don't want them to make unethical profit, they are creating jobs. They are creating employment in the system. So if the regulatory institution does something that will actually cause a negative effect on their businesses and they shut down, they will tell laying people off, and that creates unemployment. Is that not the case?
Yeah.
The same way, if they put the consumer at a disadvantage, all their incomes are eroded such that they cannot even save, for banks also to get money to loan out to the same business people. There is a cycle. Economic relationships are cyclical. You understand? You are a consumer, I'm a business person. I'm a consumer somewhere. Somebody's also a business person. And it goes around like that. So it's all about a very decent, robust, effective regulatory mechanism in the system to ensure that there is a win-win. That's why I use the term a middle playing field.
Right. Okay. Well, maybe one day we'll have a conversation
No
on
problem.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully, because it's a very interesting conversation. I know it's come up a lot of times in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in recent times, I don't think we've paid so much attention to it. Maybe we have a conversation someday, and then we can make some progress on that. But if you just tune in, this is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nitrebi Hammond. This morning I'm talking to Dr. Felix Larry Esilfi. He is an economist and he's executive director of IDER. And he's joined me this morning to have a conversation on whether the falling lending rates will actually impact or maybe ease pressure on Ghanaian businesses. And that's what we are discussing this morning. You can join the conversation. I would love to hear from you. The number to text is 0544321019, 0544321019. You can send me a WhatsApp and I'll read your messages for you. You can as well call me on 030-3956-641, 030-3956-641. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please visit these platforms, drop a comment, and I'll read them for you. All right, Doc, let's continue the conversation.
Yes.
Now, we are seeing, of course, we know that once the lending rates are falling, it should be able to translate to, once the policy rates drops, it should be able to translate to lending rates. Why aren't we seeing that? The lending rate still remains quite high. Why does it take a long time? And you said you agree with Professor Assuming on same.
Yeah.
Why does it take quite long to be able to see the benefits in there?
Yes, so every bank or every financial institution has a research unit.
Okay.
So the fact that one economic indicator is showing positive doesn't mean that automatically it's gonna, show up on the other side. Some sort of research ought to be conducted. Comprehensive data activity ought to go on, and then a determination is made. Because even if the lending rate will respond positively in terms of also going down for businesses to get easy access to capital, at what margin should it reduce? All these things ought to be done by the financial institutions through their research unit to be able to determine that.
Right.
And like I earlier said, or as I earlier said, the cost of doing business in this country is not only controlled by the monetary policy rate.
Okay.
Even the banks, their cost of doing business goes beyond that. So in this case, the lending rate, the determination of the lending rate by the commercial banks goes beyond that. They do what is called risk analysis, credit rating of even businesses and all of that within the economy. And then the past economic records of the economy itself.
Right.
You know, sometimes maybe positive gains do not last for that long time. So you need to be very careful as a financial institution to determine a rate such that if the gains you are seeing now, tomorrow you wake up and it is the reverse, you don't actually, shortchange and all of that. So sometimes it is even rational for businesses or for the commercial banks to, for example, if the monetary policy rate has gone down as at last week, you don't expect that this week they have to reduce. They have to maybe steady the financial market a little bit for maybe a week or two to be able to get to a point where they know that the risk of lending to businesses and individuals is quite also lower and all of that. You understand? Before they can determine that. So it's not, and that is why I share, I stand with Prof in this regard. There are so many latent, if I say latent, hidden variables that we don't see when it comes to some of these in terms of financial economics. There are so many latent variables and then observed variables. Sometimes we people, those of us sitting behind, we only consider the observed variables, things that are evidential. You can say, oh, if this has happened, then this ought to happen. But that is not the case. There are latent, issues that ought to be addressed. And, to quantify risk is not an easy job. You understand? There are so many robust analysis that you are supposed to do, before either you are using structural equation modeling to determine other factors, latent and non-latent factors here and there, the global economic kind of thing. If I say global, I don't mean the world, but I'm talking about the overall economy, economic setting of the country, and all of that. Government-owned behavior. Will government make a projection or a promise and then renege on the promise and all of that? All these things ought to be considered. Before a determination is made. So it's not that a straight line equation or a linear equation as people think. Things are highly geometric or exponential, and so it's not straightforward like that.
Now, bank executives oftentimes would would make reference to issues like non-performing loans and all of that. Is that a real bottleneck, or there's more to that story?
Yeah, so one of the variables is non-performing loans. You understand? The higher the non-performing loans, the more unattractive it is for the commercial banks to actually lend. Because non-performing loans, in layman's terms, is, the fact that the rate at which people fail to redeem themselves when they are owing, or when they take credit from the commercial banks. And so when these things are there, even that non-performing loans, to manage it is very expensive. You need to invest a lot of resources to try and see if those loans can be recovered. If not all, at least can part of it be recovered. So when the banks sit down and they look at how much they invest in non-performing loans, and then compare it to just yesterday reduction in monetary policy rate, and we all expect that they have to reduce their loans, it's also not fair. So it goes beyond that. Remember, banks also pay taxes. They have to make profit. They are not profit. They are not Father Christmas. And so, at what profit margin that is fair for us to ensure that we are not pressing our borrowers, say so much that they cannot, service their debt or the loans that they've taken from us. All these things, all these calculations ought to go, in before a determination can be made that, okay, we are reducing. There has been, I have forgotten some of the years, but there has been occasions where government has reduced the monetary policy rate, and the banks, the commercial banks, did not reduce their lending rate because of non-performance.
Was it before they introduced a Ghana reference rate?
Yes. Before they introduced the Ghana reference, the reference rate more or less like publicly. Yes,
regulating it.
Yes,
in a
yes,
way.
yes.
Okay.
You know, and that one is more or less determined by the forces of demand and supply in the market.
Right.
You know, so that is before that was introduced. There were occasions where the monetary policy rate actually came down, and the commercial banks did not reduce their rate because of the prevailing economic conditions at that time. And one will ask, why didn't the Bank of Ghana impress on them? The Bank of Ghana serve as so one of the regulatory body in terms of the financial sector is the Bank of Ghana. So at that time they felt like, well, it is fair for them to maintain it.
Right.
But for government side, we can reduce it to ease the banks of something, because maybe at that time, before the reduction of the monetary policy rate at that time, the commercial banks or the financial market was being squeezed. So now that they have reduced the monetary policy rate, it is fair for them to be able to recover whatever, you know, they lost and all of that. So it's not. That is why, you know, even the last time I came here, this credit rating and what have you, we are quick in jubilating her things. We need to wait for it to give it some time. You know, maximum, some of them will take even months before it can show up.
Right.
You know, others can take weeks. I'm not saying that the lending rate, the banks should take months before they reduce, but it goes beyond what we see. There are so many, you know, or so much latent issues that ought to be considered before we can actually see some of these things, you know, happening.
Right. Okay, let's talk about the sectorial impact. Essentially, the impact on now sectors like manufacturing and agriculture often rely heavily on credit for their operations. You know that even construction they all depend on that. Which industries will likely feel the benefits of falling lending rates first?
Yes, so this morning you are an economist. You have already mentioned them, the manufacturing sector. And so, you know, they are capital intensive. The machinery, bringing the machines, if they are a startup, the machines that they are supposed to get, the structures that they are supposed to raise, you know, so we have something called the capital expenditure, and then we have the working capital that they also require, and operational expenses and all of that. So all these things, when they are startups, they need business, they need some sort of loan to do that, and then they need these loans to be at a very affordable rate in terms of the interest rate to be able to actually secure or procure them and use them for their businesses. The existing ones will also need capital for loans to expand, you know, extra capital injection to expand, and that can maybe obtain only through loan, you know. So they stand to benefit. You see, the service sector, you know, services are intangible. The only way you see services are quality is about the feeling you are getting. You understand? But in manufacturing, you are dealing with tangible products. They are not services. You understand? And so sometimes the technology that you even need, let's say you are an existing manufacturing firm, and then maybe the machines that you were using, there are new ones that will make you more efficient and more productive. That technology or the means of production or the means of manufacturing, maybe there is a new way of doing it, and that would, before you can adopt the new way, you need some sort of money or funds to be able to back it. You understand? So they stand to actually benefit a lot when it comes to, you know, a lower lending rate. I'm not saying the service sector doesn't, you know, enjoy. If you go to the hospitality industry, some of them also want to embark on some capital expenditure by expanding, and, you know, in terms of their facilities and all of that. Yes, they also benefit. But the key, and that is why you see economists like Prof and other young ones like myself, we always advocate that the cost of borrowing in the country is so high. We say this not because our target is the service sector. It's because of the, you know, the manufacturing, the industrialization. Because you see, the structure of the Gojisberg economy we have been operating, we all accept that it's not helping us. You understand? But we are also not able to embark on full-scale manufacturing or industrialization because the cost of borrowing or the cost of capital is very, very heavy in such a sector. And so if the lending rate is so high, you can't do that. You understand? So that is why we always advocate that or complain that the cost of borrowing in the country is so high. Our aim is that when the cost of borrowing or the lending rate is so low or is very, very affordable, it affords people to be able to embark in industrialization, manufacturing, value addition. That is why even in cocoa sector, we are exporting raw cocoa. The gold sector, we are exporting raw gold.
Yeah.
We can have, if the cost of borrowing is so affordable, you can have private businessmen who can even have a joint venture, secure loan, set up a refinery, private one, like other countries are doing. You see, to be able to, and when they do that, they are able to employ, create jobs, and look at the supply chain, the value chain. And, you know, several direct and indirect jobs are along the chain. But if the cost of borrowing or the lending rate is so high, it deters people to embark on such an such an investment. And so as a result of that, you will see only tabletop kind of businesses, roadside businesses, and they'll go to the microfinance institutions and even take very expensive loans. You know, because the microfinances, because they are not well established, they have to do everything possible to protect their money. And because the processes of procuring such loans are also not difficult, they tend to set, unrealistic, interest rate. And because these small businesses want them, they go for them. And the commercial banks are there having a high level of, non-performing loans to service and all to spend on and all of that. And businesses are not able to approach the commercial banks and all of that. So the lending rate, when it goes down, the key beneficiaries are people in the agro-industrial sector and non-agro-industrial sector like mining, oil and gas, and then all other sectors that we can consider.
I see. One major issue has got to do with the SMEs and startups.
Yes.
According to research, I think about 15%, only 15% are able to access credits from banks and all of that, meaning that they do their business without loans. Is a small drop in the lending rates going to change this dynamic, or you think there are deeper reforms?
There should be deeper reforms because you see, as I speak to you, and I stand to be corrected, the conditions that are there for businesses to be able to procure loans or borrow from the commercial banks is the same for bigger, large scale businesses and then the small scale businesses. So your guess is as good as mine. If as I sit here, okay, the level that businessmen like the chairman of this particular media house, I'm not at his level. You understand? So if the two of us are going to compete for loan, if you are a bank manager or a credit manager of a reputable commercial bank, the two of us, whom will you consider as less riskier to lend to? He's the one.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
Maybe he is already having a bigger manufacturing conglomerate. I am now a startup. But the conditions and the conditions or the things that are required for all of us to qualify to get loans from these commercial banks are the same for himself and myself. So you see that all the time the SMEs struggle. So there are deeper reforms, So government ought to deliberately assist the commercial banks to design, special packages for them to be able to access in order to, kickstart and expand and grow to become the bigger ones that we all know of. Otherwise, this reduction we call it non-targeted. It's a non-targeted kind of reduction. It goes for all. Right. And rather the people who benefit are the larger conglomerates, larger manufacturing or businesses, larger manufacturing firms or other businesses. Yeah.
So you're calling for deeper reforms, and specifically you're saying that they should have some packages for startups.
Exactly. So
that's a very good call.
So let me quickly add here. You see, what I'm saying is more or less the form of the current administration's idea during the electioneering campaign that they will set up a women's bank. You understand?
Yeah.
What was the rationale? In their minds, they felt like women competing men for loans or capital to be able to start up their own businesses and even expand, they are always at a disadvantage point. You understand?
Yeah.
Because by culture and by nature, men automatically control the larger resources. Go to the villages, even for agricultural production, access to land tenure system. I'm currently doing a study for an international development organization, land tenure system. Some of the findings so far, the analysis we are seeing is that about 70 to 80% of the lands for agricultural production in the hinterlands are in the hands of the men. You understand? So that is how come in the minds or at the back of the minds of the current administration, when they were campaigning, they felt like there should be a special bank with special services for women. The same idea ought to be extended to the entire private sector, be it owned by women or men, but targeting at what? The small scale industry or the sector, such that they can have like the same thing as the Women's Bank.
But are in the microfinances dealing with that already?
The microfinance, as I told you, if you recall my previous submission before this question came in, I was saying that because they have soft procedures, for giving out loans, most of the time their interest rates are even higher because they are bold to take higher risk.
Okay.
I can walk in and I say that I need a loan to go and do business. Sometimes, as the things that the commercial bank would demand, maybe some document of a property as a collateral, whatever, they can actually ignore all of that. The best thing they can do, okay, let's go and see your business. Let's go and have a look at your office. You understand? They just come and do inspection, and then they just get your house address. That's all. And then they give you the loan. So as a result, so you look at the risk associated with that. To be fair to them, so they peg their lending rate at a very high level. You understand? So the lower the procedure or the easier the procedure for procuring the loan, the higher the interest rate. So they are not serving that purpose. Actually, the origin, if you look at the Microfinance Act of the Bank of Ghana, the main purpose of the microfinance is to actually give easy loans to help the small SMEs to actually expand and grow. But we are not meeting the purpose. Why? Because first of all, the microfinance don't even have enough to give. For example, unless I need 100,000, a microfinance I approach say, oh, Doc, we can only give you 50,000. Where do I get the remaining 50,000? You understand? So I can take the 50,000 because I'm not having the remaining 50,000. I end up using the money for the wrong thing.
Okay.
You understand? It's just like you have gone to borrow money to maybe do something, and then instead of you to get the full money, you got half of it. So you are keeping it so that you look for the remaining. By the time you get the remaining, maybe some other demands come and you spend the money on that. But if they are able to go to a bank specially designed for them to give them special packages, you understand, for which they can easily get whatever amount they need to be able to expand or even start up, then they can do whatever they are doing. Otherwise, I don't think the microfinance institutions are really serving their purpose, and I don't blame them for that.
All right. Okay, Doc, we have to go now. Our time is up, and so we'll go. But the Bank of Ghana has actually set an ambitious, a very bold plan that by 2029 or so, they're going to reduce the MPC to about 10% or so. I don't know if you know about it.
Yes, I've heard about.
You've heard about that. Yes, I want to know what I mean from a policy standpoint, what needs to happen there.
They say how many years time?
So from now to 2029, so 4 years.
2029, so that's 4 years.
Yeah,
it's possible. You see, in this country, my brother, I will not, argue any government that will set such a target. First of all, we need to encourage government to set targets. It's a key thing.
All right.
So it is a right call. Rather than we allowing them to work in a vacuum. Now, by 2029, if by the grace of God we are all alive and kicking, we can refer them and actually argue or commend them for being able to, for them achieving that. If they are not able to achieve, we can criticize them, and they will come out and tell us the reasons for which they could not. Even if they are able to improve the system or the situation, but they are not able to meet the target, at least there was a benchmark. We can encourage them to meet the gap. You understand? So that is a key thing. But let me hasten to add that, look, that target for me is even a bit loose. They could have gone a bit higher, because you see, there are so many routes. If you have observed my line of argument, anytime you and I have conversations, I speak about institutional failure and the weaknesses of the Ghanaian business system, financial system, policy system. You understand? Corruption is one of them. And you understand that. And the corruption, I'm not speaking about only government aspect or government, but even private sector, we the individuals, and then businesses, the corruption or the corrupt act that we engage in. We want to profiteer, the act of profiteering, by beating the system to prove that we are smarter businessmen. Being a smart businessman doesn't mean that you have to steal or you have to cheat the system. A smarter business person is the one who, by following the rules and regulations of the game, is able to manage the limited resources at its disposal to make the optimal benefit out of it. It means you are being efficient. It means you are being a smart business entity.
Right.
But if you cheat the system and profiteer yourself and make huge profit, it doesn't make you smart. Excuse my language. It makes you stupid and foolish. Because at the end of the day, somebody is also doing same in another sector. Right. You will go and demand services. So at the end of the day, we create chaos in the system and we all suffer. So that target is realistic. If they are able to manage the institutions very well, clean the system, ensure that people are doing fair businesses, individuals like you and myself are also doing the right thing within the economic system. These things are easier to actually achieve. And then they can also achieve that through adoption of technology. This time AI has come. So that's why I said it's also realistic with AI. AI, artificial intelligence, it doesn't have a feeling to change its mind. Once you program and command it, it's going to give you exactly what you want. So we need to actually even train our public sector, staff to be able to actually embrace AI. It's very, very key. Right. And then rather than this manual, because the manual creates a lot of loopholes and chances for people to actually, enrich themselves and leave the system, in negative kind of situation.
Right. Okay. So, looking ahead, where do you see our lending rates by the end of 2025? I don't know if you have any projections.
I know that. I don't have data. I normally make projections with real data,
right.
But I can make some sort of qualitative projection. I know that definitely it will go down. If the Bank of Ghana go the way we are going, whatever, I keep encouraging the government, whatever they are doing right, they should deepen it and even look for more innovative ways to strengthen and expand the good things that they are doing. The problem I have with this government is that they have weak communication system. You understand? They are not able to, their communicators are communicating as if they are in opposition. At this stage, you don't allow the opposition to set the argument or set the pace for the argument. You are supposed to drive the thing. And that is one thing I commend the previous administration. You see, the free SHS, those days, even we are hungry, free SHS. We can't pay our bills, free SHS. They drummed it to the level that even my mother at the village, once upon a time, I intentionally engaged in a debate. Those days that you were going to school and I did not, if Akufo-Addo, you would have gone to school for free and I would be happy. Look at the communication. But now, look at the good things that have been launched. The stress-free, whatever is there. The free sanitary pad, whatever is there. Feed Ghana project, the 24-hour economy. Are you hearing anything? They are not communicating. Rather, when they go to studios, it is what the MPP is saying that they spend their energy to debate on. Instead of them to debate or discuss policies for the MPP to chase and counter the argument and even try to rubbish it, then that will give them the opportunity to open the whole thing up and break the policies down for the laymen by the roadside on the street to understand. They are not doing that. So I would encourage them, they should look at that aspect. And then also whatever, as I said, whatever they are doing, I love the intercourse between the finance ministry and the Bank of Ghana. That is the way it ought to go. It shouldn't be a situation whereby there are separate or divergent policy agenda for the two institutions. Now you can see that from day one that they came, they have been working together. The fiscal policy dimension is working in synchronism with the monetary policy aspect sector of the economy, and that is how it ought to go. When there's two sectors, or when these two sectors speak to each other, we are able to get the benefit, and that's what we are seeing. Right. So I encourage them to continue doing that.
All right. So, so for business leaders who are listening to us today, what key indicators should they watch in the coming months before making some borrowing or investment decisions?
Yes. So first of all, they should look at the risky nature of doing business.
Okay.
I will encourage them that they have to diversify. Diversification is the order of the day. If you have, say, 50,000 to invest, don't push all the 50,000 into one sector.
Right.
Okay, you need to at least have about let's say 30% in another side business. It's very, very key, especially the startups. I have been a startup before, and I have failed before. I started a pure water company. At that time, the zeal was there. I invested about 500,000 into the system, and then I didn't know that the boys who work in that area are very guys. They are more intelligent than me. I claim that I'm a PhD holder, but they are PhD holders down there. You understand? And they shortchanged me, and along the line, I had to sell the machines and everything, and then shut everything down. And assuming I did not have a side business, then my whole life would have been cramped. So diversification is key. Even the existing businesses, I have seen some of them doing a couple of that. I encourage the rest who are not doing so to do that. It's very, very key. Very and then they should also, take advantage of the prevailing economic conditions and make better business plans, strategic plan, maybe 5 years, 3 years, whatever plan, and pursue it rigorously. And then, please, I also encourage them that the act of profiteering is not the best way to go. They should play fair in everything that we do. Right. And then, when the system is fair and right for all of us, it's a cyclical kind of feeling. You do, I do. You do me, I do you. So if you do me good, I do you good. If you do me bad, I do you bad. So then the whole thing is a zero-sum game.
Right.
But when we are able to play fair, it's a win-win kind of level, as a playing field for all of us to enjoy as beneficiary of this economy.
Right. Doc, thank you very much. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all.
Thank you for having me
all the time. Really grateful.
Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Okay. What a rich and insightful conversation this has been.
101.9 FM. Your life.
And today we've unpacked more than just lending rates. Myself and Dr. Felix Larry Esilfi. He's an economist and also the executive director of IDER. All right, that's how we wrap up today. Whether you're a CEO steering a multinational or a young entrepreneur dreaming big or a professional making strategic investment decision, one thing is clear. The interest rates are not just numbers. They are signals guiding where capital flows and how businesses thrive. And as we leave today, remember the words of Warren Buffett. It says that opportunities come infrequently. When it rains gold, put out the bucket, not a thimble. Of course, falling lending rates could be the beginning of a golden shower for those ready to act. And the question is, will you be prepared when the opportunities knock? All right, thank you very much. My name is Nietzsche B. Hammond. We'll be back again tomorrow for more interesting conversations. Please take very good care of yourself. And I hope that this conversation will spur you on to make the right investment and borrowing decisions in these times. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. And when you think Ghana, please think Zed. Bye-bye.